welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We're back today. We're playing more Call of Cthulhu. And we're here, guys. We're at the precipice. It's the finale. I don't see how this goes on any longer. So, you ready?
Oh
we have. Gosh. I mean, 4 of you have. I don't know why Lol's here.
To enjoy the show. Why else?
Yeah,
that's cool. You could be like, yeah, front row seat.
Perfect.
That's great,
Perfect
man.
attitude.
I appreciate the support. It's awesome. But yeah, so let's go through really fast. Steven, Will is your second character. We lost Pastor Wood obviously a while ago. Goldie is Ashley's second character. Bev's technically alive, but had some sanity issues. But she's still alive at least.
Single digits.
Yeah. Maitreyi took a different approach. Poor Shaima. We lost her. Carmelita we lost. Now we have Leela. And then finally, Long and Melissa are still on their final characters or first characters or something like that, right? If
we're so boring.
Well, yeah.
OG.
So, I didn't want to say
You're
it,
the
but
OG.
if you bring it up,
yeah.
You know,
so they are the OGs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them nearly fell. Well, one of them nearly fell. The other one fell last time around. So that was interesting.
Marie did her falling in Malta.
No, those falling upwards is not technically falling.
She still fell downwards as well.
Did you also fall downwards?
I fell, and it was only because people caught me that I didn't fall further. And then Patrick fell after me, and he was in front, so there was no one to catch him.
I remember the falling upward, but I don't remember the falling
twisting
downward.
Oh, Jeff, chat would like to point out that I have run through a few cats during the course of this campaign.
That's true.
So
and she still insists. She still insists they're okay. None of them are okay. Like, we just choose to say that they're okay. But there's no way those cats are okay. Right?
The awful thing is that
Schrodinger's cat. If they're not on screen, they're both dead and alive.
They suffered something horrific. Yeah. What were their names again?
Clara is just hanging out at the hotel in Bangkok.
Joyboy.
Like, there's like no issues there. And Joyboy's like in Malta. I mean, living your best life in Malta. Like,
yeah. Maybe. Hey, listen. If you want to add them to your epilogue. Yeah.
Where like you have to like do all the paperwork and have the quarantine to get a pet in because Marie decades ago kept leaving cats in every different country, spreading rabies everywhere.
God. Oh my God, Marie's the reason I had such a hard time bringing Toki from India.
Oh my goodness.
Well, and Joyboy has tasted nectar because there was a roll at some point that happened that Joyboy has tasted nectar. So they're
in the alley behind Nancy's apartment, right?
Yep.
Where more bad things continue to happen. Yeah. It was crazy going back, checking notes, listening back to a few spot listens of various episodes, kind of just listening back to things. And it's crazy. We've been at this. We did some math, like 24 months, I think we said, which is a bizarrely long time. We took a couple little interludes here and there, but it's 24 months. It's crazy. And it's all come down to this. So you all ready? Everyone do their luck rolls? Your final luck rolls?
Yep.
I'm up over 50.
I'm doing great on luck.
Nice.
Last time around, we started on day 2 of your climb up the devouring mountain, who we know as Mount Kailash. And it began with Will nearly falling off a cliff as he was lured there by a vision or a dream of Frank Kearns, our dearly departed pilot. And fortunately, you all were able to hear him and rescue him before anything too terrible happened. The ascent continued, and it was worse than the day before. It was harder. The wind was harder. The ice was harder. Earth was giving way. Air was thinning. But somehow you all pressed through, and you did, in fact, reach the summit. And that's where Marie, for the first time in our campaign, you cast a spell. You tried to open the sky, and you channeled some kind of blue fire, and you shot a beam up into the heavens. The stars started to shift, and then you heard this creaking yawn, this opening in the mouth as a giant maw at the top of the summit went open. But there was also all sorts of earthquakes. There was a pillar of nectar vapor that kind of poured out into the sky as well. It hit a lot of you who have had history with nectar. You started to get some strange feels from that as well. But you managed to endure it all, and you descended. You climbed down as best you could, rappelling down that dark canyon, that dark cave, crevasse, and you had to face a lot of weird things along the way. Minor mouths were forming on the rock. Some of them were gnawing at you, at your ropes, spitting at you, mimicking the voices of loved ones. One of them was pestering Patrick with Anna's voice. Pustules exploded, coated Will at one point with this rage-infused nectar, which caused him to get irritated. Shortly thereafter, Marie's ropes snapped, and she tumbled all the way down. Fortunately, Leela and Patrick were able to grab her. Gravity inverted at one point, and it sent Leela and Marie flying skyward. And that's when Patrick suddenly became the person furthest down your trek, and he fell. And he kind of disappeared, and he got lost. And you looked for him, you called for him, and you were never able to recover him. You continued to climb, and you found a major mouth. Like at this point, I think only Marie had witnessed, which was years ago now in Mexico City, in Los Angeles, and it had these huge tongues. And so they started scurrying up the walls like snakes, and it was then when you kind of decided, like, we can't bypass this thing. Goldie came to the conclusion that maybe this crevasse was like part of the body itself, and this would suffice for the summoning spell that you wanted to cast. And so you found a small ledge, and you performed a lengthy ritual to summon the avatar of Golgoroth. It emerged from this flat black liquid, and then it dove down to the body of the liar somewhere in the depths below. It didn't take very long, but some things happened. Like there was like some wrenching sounds, strange viscous blood and fluid beginning to fill the cavern. But it seemed to work, as a lot of the mouths up and down the rock walls were attacked or crumbled and disappeared. And then when Golgoroth returned, its voice boomed in your minds, which Marie and Will, you've had this sensation before, but Leela and Goldie, it was brand new. And the voice said, "The pretender is vanquished. The gaze of Azathoth falls upon this rock." And then it disappeared. You decided to descend a little bit more, look around for Patrick, but still saw no signs of him. Will, you remained behind a little bit longer while the rest went back up to the summit. Will, you decided to cast a spell. You decided to try your couriers of the upper air, but nothing happened, in fact. And when you got back up to the summit, maybe you thought you failed. Suddenly there was a shimmering fold in the air, and coming out of that fold was some reptilian creature. It was winged, it was angry, but it was certainly intelligent, and it was coming at you. But you managed to overpower it. Like you actually had the power of will to keep it from attacking you. You gave it a command to basically find Patrick, right? To help Patrick. And after hesitating, the thing eventually lowered its head to allow you to mount it. And so you got in like a cowboy would climb aboard on top of a horse, and it lifted back up, and the two of you folded back into that shimmer and disappeared. That left Marie and Goldie and Leela on the mountain. You climbed back down. It took time, but it was a lot easier comparatively than going up and dealing with this sort of weird, like haunted, imbued nature of the mountain. It's very slow. It was very tiring. Eventually you made it back to Darchen. But along the way, you started to notice some strange things. You noticed that the sky suddenly had this aurora, this cascading light that started to move across it in all sorts of directions. You noticed also that lightning strikes were just happening with almost constant, in the distance, up close. And as you were resting around a fire in Darchen, you realized that the flakes that were falling from the sky that you thought were snow were not snow, but in fact were ash of some kind. And that is what happened in the penultimate episode. So, we open up the finale on darkness. And for the longest time, it is just darkness. We hear the sounds of mouths, gnawing, gnashing. And then we see a lone, falling light coursing vertically through that darkness. When we zoom in, we see that trailing that light is Patrick. And he is all alone, falling down into the depths of this crevasse. We hear now the sounds of his mouth that has grown on the back of his hand, has sometimes matriculated up his arm. We hear it exalting louder and louder and louder. It starts to be echoed by the dozens of other mouths that are on the rock walls as well. Patrick, it feels genuinely like you have been and will continue to fall forever. That's how long it's been. You look up and you no longer see the lantern light of your friends. You no longer hear their calls. You no longer hear even the mocking call of Anna's voice. Once or twice you scrape against the rock itself and pain sears through you. An arm nearly gets ripped from its shoulder. Your leg kind of clearly breaks at the shin as it slams against a protruding piece of rock. The pain you're feeling is piercing. It's almost blinding. But then it sort of starts to fade from you as you tumble and turn. And you look down and you suddenly see something other than darkness as you reach the bottom of this massive maw and you reach the body of what can only be the lyre from beyond. You see it's pulsing with this unnatural life, these thick, folded membranes roiling and twisting. There's this sickly, pale pink flesh that's crisscrossed by purple and green veins bursting and spewing fluids left and right like a volcanic field, and then heal themselves. You don't see a face, you don't see limbs, you just see this large patch of flesh, a mere segment of what must be a gargantuan body that is occluded by the rest of the mountain. And without any choice, without any mercy, you plunge directly into it. The flesh welcomes you. It starts to fold over top of you. It spills this warm pus from these open sores that at first is strangely welcome. It's warm. It's a change from the cold that you've been feeling, but that warmth is quickly replaced by heat. But it's not fire. Acid starts to ooze over every portion of your body. The mouth on your arm is screaming in ecstasy, and as you maybe try to scream out in pain, you realize your mouth is now covered. The mass that you are in is pulling at you, subsuming you. You can feel your arms and your legs, your face, all feels like they're just merging with the body of the liar. The pain that you are feeling is beyond scale. Time slips from you. And it's in this state, in this constant state of unimaginable pain. Maybe it's moments later, maybe it's hours, could be years. It's when you look up and you see the darkness above shifts, moves in some way. And you start to hear these howls of not ecstasy, not exultation, but warning. And they're all echoing like a chorus from above. And you feel a spasm course through you. A spasm of fear, not your own body, but the body that you now have become a part of. And above you, that shifting darkness manifests into a creature that you have seen before. It's part toad, It's part bat, wide wings with far too many tongues, and its central mouth opens wide, fangs, row and row deep, and it plunges down into you and into the liar's body. Darkness hits again. We hear sounds of ripping flesh, snapping of bone, the rending of organs. We kind of feel this like shudder of death. And Patrick, you are amidst all of this, feeling all of this. The sounds start to grow more muted for you as you seem to plunge more deeply into this mass. You are like a clog in a drain, pushed by some immense force inward and inward. You feel yourself compressed, coiled, crushed. And just as it seems as though you are about to be pulverized from existence, you feel an acute pressure on your arm. It feels like something has gripped you, a hand. It sort of tugs away at you with a surprising strength. It's a firm grip. You try to open your eyes, but nothing is clear. Everything is like looking through the murkiest of waters. For a moment, you see a figure looming over top of you, pulling you through what looks like a viscous river of bile. But there's a familiarness to it, to the presence. There's a voice that you realize it's talking to you, mumbling. You hear "Hold on, Patrick, for I reckon our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that shall be revealed in us." And as you try to listen more carefully, as you try to look more closely and truly identify the figure, bile pours into your eyes, pours into your ears, and you can see and hear no more. We fade again into blackness, and we hear the sounds of wind start to kick up a little bit. We suddenly see the darkness start to fade, and now what we see is a sky, a dusty sky, sandy maybe. And it's strange to look at, odd. Something about it looks off. We see gray flakes falling. We see colors, not blue, not gray, cascading around. We see the ash flakes swirling with sand. We hear the sound of something flapping, tense leather. We hear the cry of maybe an animal, like a herd animal. And as we're staring at the sky, we see a circular shimmer begin to form. And from that shimmer emerges a winged and reptilian creature in the process of shedding this dark frost as it descends to a sandy ground, shaking itself a little bit. And we see its rider, Will, also coated here and there with tiny little flakes of dark frost. When we look around now, Will, you see a terrain that looks alien. It looks like something that is not earthly. Colorful craters of rock and sand, silty pools encrusted with some kind of crystalline buildup. The temperature is shocking. It scalds you. Some sun in the sky blinds and burns, and you can feel this heat, this ground sweltering, making the horizon falter as you look out at it. But as your eyes adjust and you look around, you see a tribal village. You see tarps, you see tapestries flapping from makeshift abodes. And it's then, Will, that you recognize this place. In a way, you recognize Ethiopia. You recognize the heat, you recognize the sand, you recognize the near alien terrain of the Depression. The abodes that are meant for nomadic movement, and by the people who, very few of them, but the people who stare at you in horror, amazement, some of them flee. All of them are marked by horrific scars. They are missing limbs, ears, jaws. Some are laying prostrate, not at you, but just generally. Others are weeping. Some are calling out in a language you're unfamiliar with. Some are performing a kind of ritualistic self-harm. And none seem too interested in interfering as your courier lands you outside of the largest tent. It is a round and white thing, and it looks as though one of those fleeing people had previously been guarding it. The beast lowers its head for you to dismount. What do you do?
Dismount, and I'm at this tent for a reason. I go inside.
You go inside. As you pull the flap back, you hear the sounds of the Bayaki's wings once more flap. When you look over your shoulder, you see it has launched itself back up into the air, and it is beelining directly for the shimmer.
Oh shit, that was my ride back.
You look inside.
Patrick?
And you see a room that has suffered some sort of violence. You notice that there are bodies in here. 3 that look humanoid. You notice that there is a large, hardened, and fossilized almost looking mouth. Not quite as large as the one that you all ran into in the crevasse, but quite large. But you notice that it is motionless, it is pale, it is twisted, and it looks honestly like some kind of bizarre fossil, not a living thing. You see a woman, an Ethiopian woman, clearly dead, scarred everywhere. She's kind of thrown off to the side. She too has, just underneath her chest, on the ground, a smaller, shriveled up, pale thing, like a twisted mouth. And you see on her chest where her left breast would be, you see a scar, as if there is just nothing there, like something detached, fell, and left scar tissue behind. You notice on the wall a Caucasian man, dirty, hairy, made of skin and bones. He is hanging from what looks like 2 hooks that are pierced into the back of his shoulders. And he has, much like the woman, this massive scar across his stomach. And on the ground in front of him, where he is hanging down, you see a large mouth shattered into pieces, as though it fell from him. And you recognize this man as Professor George Ayres. And finally, you see as if having just protruded from that massive mouth in the middle of this depression inside of the tent, you see another body. And at first, it looks like a corpse. It is covered in acidic burns everywhere. The clothes have been stripped away. You can see that everything, every bit of skin is red and raw. And the hair that probably once was on the head is patchy and gone. Same on the face, where that familiar, well-groomed mustache for so long that you looked at is probably in some state of disarray. But you see the body of Patrick, and you see his wrist on the back of it, where his mouth should be. It is empty, it is scarred, and there is a tangled rock right next to him. What do you do?
I rush up to Patrick, check for a pulse.
Give me a first aid test.
All right. My first aid is 72. That is a 44 regular success.
Patrick, roll a d4. What'd you do? Give yourself 1 HP back, and your eyes open, and everything hurts. Every single bit of you hurts. And you hear your name being called. You see light. It is like, again, looking through that murky water. But as you blink away, things come clearer and clearer. And you see Will.
Patrick, buddy, you okay?
You see these
He took a bit of a fall there.
Just staring into the back of your skull.
Patrick,
Trying to remember
say something.
how to do anything, how my lips can move. Try to get those muscles activated. Able to quiver out some words. Patrick, that's my name.
Yeah, buddy. That's you. You remember me?
I feel like I've been dissolved and put together again.
It's me, Will. Remember we met not too far away from here? Casablanca?
Yeah, Will. Yeah.
Yeah. We're in Eritrea right now. You kind of fell through the earth in a weird way. Don't know how it happened, but don't worry, we're gonna get you out of here. You okay? Can you stand?
I don't know, Will. Help me up.
Yeah, I gotcha. And I put his arm over me and just do my best to take as much of his weight as I stand up with him.
Okay. Yeah, you get him up, and yeah, you can move Patrick, but there's nothing that you do that doesn't feel painful. Like every bit of you basically have acid burns on 3/4 of your body. You can talk, but your throat is parched. Your eyes hurt. Your lids hurt when you bring them down to close. But yeah, you're able to move. You only probably have tattered rags of whatever climbing gear you had worn, whatever kind of pus and bile that you had been dragged through has eaten away at it all. And so you are quite warm as well, as the air here is much hotter than the last time you had clear memory.
I got good news for you, and I got bad news for you. Let's start with the good news. You're alive. And honestly, you shouldn't be, because you fell quite a bit. So that's good. Also, your arm seems to be cured. There was this frog god that killed the body underneath the mountain, and it seemed to calcify all those mouths, and it looks like yours fell off. So hey, we don't need to cut your arm off. So that's good. Bad news: we are in the middle of the desert of Eritrea. And I think we're in the village of those people who tried to, didn't try to. They killed Shima and they tried to kill us. And they got George Ayers, it looks like. Don't look over there. It's fine. Just keep looking forward. And I kind of like lead us like out of this hut and like just start getting blinded by light. So we might, they ran away, but we might need to get going. I don't really think we're that safe here, buddy.
I've seen and felt everything already, Will. I've already died. It doesn't matter.
It matters a little bit. You're still alive. There's still a little bit that matters. I'm still alive. We're here. We just need to, and I'm like looking around and seeing if there's anyone that came to investigate after the demon.
There's nobody who seems at all interested in you. Half of the people that you saw out here who are in the process of ritualistic scarification or prostration have made progress on that, some of whom there are large pools of blood beneath them. They appear to have suffered some collective and horrific call, and all of them either flee or in pain. No one seems to interfere with you. I will say this, though. As you are moving out, you do hear
oh shit. Okay, so there may be someone else. Patrick, just take a seat for a moment. And I put Patrick down. And I kind of like start checking first with Ayers. I see if Ayers is still alive.
Give me a first aid test.
I can't carry two people, Jeff. It's a big desert. That is a 14, extreme success. 14 is exactly what I needed for extreme.
You come over to check on him, and he goes, his head like throws back. You see his like rotten old teeth just nearly like falling out here and there. His face is sunburned and pale at the same time. Like you can see he's been suffering some significant amounts of pain. His eyes are kind of wide, and you can tell that they have certainly harmed him, as there's wounds on various parts of his body that you don't remember seeing. Help me.
Will like immediately jumped back and yelled the same time he did, and like instinctively reached for his gun but didn't pull it, and then like caught his wits because he's trying to figure out what's going on too, and then sees like he's hanging by hooks. Is there any way to cut him down to get him to stop hanging? Do I have to like lift him off these hooks myself? Will's trying to address that problem at hand.
And so, yeah, you gently grab him by his legs, which are frail and thin, and you lift him up, and he is not hard to lift at all. And he's as you do so.
Okay, sorry about this. You're gonna feel some pressure.
As you're able to unhook him, and you can bring him out, and you can kind of lay him down on the ground next to where you've set Patrick. And the three of you are outside of this tent in the village of Dalal. And you're taking stock of everything around you. Patrick, probably memories are flooding through you. And you see there's no one here that seems to care about you. You see various animals moving about. Looks like some kind of sort of goat-like animal that you've seen a few times before when you were last here. You see a few camels, some of which are trying to get free from various pens. And all of you feel things falling on your face. And you start to pluck them off one by one, and you realize it's ash, little flakes of gray ash. And when you look up at the sky, you see this aurora of green cascading across it. And little segments of clouds beginning to form. And as you're looking at it, strikes of lightning come down all throughout the village and in the distance. We cut from there, and we are now in the cold, windswept village of Darchen, where Marie, Leela, and Goldie are staring up at that same sky, that same strange, green, cascading aurora moving across the entire sky from north to south, from east to west, back and forth. You see all of the flakes of ash falling. You can see these tufts of clouds, these dark clouds beginning to form here and there. And much like down in Dalal, we hear the sounds of lightning crashes everywhere. What is going through the three of yours minds? And what do you think you're talking about? And what would you like to do?
Will actually called that. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that we were successful at that. And then he just took off. Where could he have gone to find Mr. Price?
That is beyond us now. The ash, and like she just starts rattling off just like things that she's read of, like, because she didn't get to do a full pour over, but she did do she did like the initial read of the Gaze of Azathoth, and she just, like, Goldie just keeps repeating that phrase that the old god boomed in all of our heads, and it's kind of the only thing that she can really cling to, and she just keeps babbling that she needs to get to Cyrus so we can figure out what to do. She's scared and she doesn't know what to do.
You can make a Cthulhu Mythos or an int test, but the int I would want a hard test. I would want a hard success, but you can roll a Cthulhu Mythos or an intelligence test with a requirement of hard if you would like.
Okay. Well, let's try a Cthulhu Mythos, can we still not do boosts?
No, you're totally fine now. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to take the 2 boosts.
Thank you, audience.
So we're shooting for a 40.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
45. I'll pay to succeed.
You, it makes sense that you're probably thinking about the gaze of Azathoth has fallen on this rock.
Mm-hmm.
Because you read a narrative literally titled The Gaze of Azathoth by an unknown author, and it felt like a narrative and a story. There are patches in it that were more than that, right? That dove into specific rituals and formulae and things like that. But you do very distinctly remember that in the early stages of that narrative, before that nameless, faceless man who was the centerpiece of this story, one of the things that he described before Azathoth sort of manifested and before he started hopping from planet, world to world, were phenomena not unlike what you're seeing. Strange colors in the sky, ash falling, storms of lightning that seem to manifest out of nothing. And it certainly bears a striking resemblance. That is true.
And that's just, Goldie narrates that to you, and she just is kind of babbling that the world is ending. And, we brought this upon Earth. We didn't research this enough. How did we think that we could have controlled the battle between 2 gods and not have it negatively affect us, just mere humans? And she's having an entire freak out.
We did what we needed to do. It was taking over everything. And
the information. We trusted a cult. We trusted Donovan. Sure, he wanted to get away from them, but who knew if his information was good and true, or if he was just continuing to push us in the direction that the god really truly wanted us to do.
I don't...
Whatever it is, I think the ship has sailed.
Should I do... I don't think I have the...
What the hell can you do, Marie? What is there left to do?
I don't even know.
The way you're talking about this, you have no idea. None of you have any idea this was even supposed to happen. It's just happening.
We knew. I knew what the ritual that I did was going to do, and that worked. And we needed to get rid of the one being under the mountain, and that I hope has happened. If Patrick were here, I would look at his hand and see if that worked. But I don't know what to do.
It's great that we used that to end it, but we didn't think of the consequences of what inviting a god here would do. We opened that gate, that portal.
Christ. This is.
We have to go to Cyrus. We have to get back in. He has the rest of the books. Maybe he's found something while we've been gone.
Let's go. Will and Patrick are dead. Let's go.
I don't. Well, Will is
a mystical beast.
If you want to stay, you can stay.
Reality, Marie. Patrick saw Patrick fall.
Leaving, whether or not anyone is following her.
Just start packing up. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll also notice that there are other pilgrims here, and there is some panic that has started to form. Some are like panically fleeing, leaving like you all. Some are like kneeling and looking and wondering. Some are talking to each other about, like, kind of hear little blips and blurbs. A language or two maybe comes through, something about like end of days and various other scriptures and stuff coming through. There's definitely a panic that's starting to like sink in. The sky looks not like the sky any longer. Yeah. So, and then the ash is falling and it's coating everything.
All of that just serves to increase Leela's resolve to get the fuck away from here.
Okay. Goldie, did you bring anything with you? Did you bring? Or did you leave?
I did bring
all the books. Okay.
I did bring the one, The Gaze of Azathoth.
All right. So, if the three of you want to begin your repeat journey to kind of go back as best you can, it's a process, obviously, but going down sometimes is easier than going up. But we see a montage then of Leela and Marie and Goldie, sometimes random other travelers that join you for a few days and speak of their predictions and their beliefs, and others sometimes speaking in panics. Others stop and almost try to accost you to get your supplies. And we see this montage of you all going through these snowy, icy heights that are now coated in this gray snow. We see the light gets worse and worse in the sky. You see it starts to undulate between greens and reds. The lightning becomes more ever present. There are times it strikes near you. There are times it strikes at great distance, but it's constantly striking. Sleeping is difficult at night. You gather around a campfire, but it's quickly snuffed out over the course of the hours as the snow and as the ash fall on it, and you wake up from time to time from the cascading lights. When you start to get back towards anything resembling like civilization, like not so much Darchen, but even when you get to like Burang and then to Darchula, you start to hear stories about other sites. People have seen these things. It's not just around Mount Kailash. You're hearing people who are coming up from Delhi and from other places throughout India and Tibet, and they're saying they're seeing these same things. They're talking about end of days. They're talking about panic. Some of them come to you crying. Some of them come to you with angst. Some of them come to you with fear. There are fights that break out between various groups that would never even interact. with each other. There's panic on the trail, and there's panic when you try to get to some of the train depots. The trains are filled and spilling over. People are fighting for space. Others are fleeing the minute they have a chance. And this is all something you are facing for days and days and days and days on end. Goldie, give me a library use test. Because amidst that montage, Goldie, you said you brought it with you?
I did, yeah.
Okay, give me, if you're reading,
14 extreme success.
Hell yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me get some detail. You said extreme?
Extreme.
Mm-hmm. When you have the quiet moments, you're able to dig even more deeply into this text. It is, and very quickly, you start to think, especially considering the context of what you're witnessing, this is not mere tale. It is not merely a story. You're not sure if this is a documentation of history, of maybe an alien world, which at first it seemed maybe, presumably, this was about a human man, faceless, nameless. Maybe it was some other person, or maybe it's prophecy. It's something that will come to pass, and maybe this is a human man that is described, but either way, it becomes clear to you as you focus less and less on the narrative and more intently on some of the rituals that were performed at various places throughout that narrative. You're able, based upon your expertise in astronomy and various occult practices, and even some cases like mathematics, thanks to your astronomical knowledge, you notice that they're not simply random fictionalized descriptions by an author looking to create dramatic effect, but there's a precision to them as you start to realize. And maybe something forms in you, a thought that the gaze of Azathoth is pointed, is directed at this world, but it is focused on this nameless, faceless protagonist. And it's not a random target. It's not a random focus, but in the early pages, sort of the prologue stages of this book, you start to read with a different light, and you realize that there is intention, that this nameless, faceless man was intentionally orchestrated through something referred to as a cosmic sacrifice. Now, your light reading, your skim of this, it was just metaphor, right? Or something random. But now, closer read suggests that this was not metaphor, but something literal, a literal sacrifice on a cosmic scale. And it was only until that happened, it was only when that happened, that the gaze of Azathoth was drawn to the sacrifice. And there is nothing that can withstand the gaze of Azathoth. Nothing. It is guaranteed oblivion. You also notice from your full study, again, this is taking weeks of travel. In addition to the cosmic sacrifice, you start to hone in on the idea of focus, this person, and again, they're never explored in any depth. They're not really, we don't get a name, you don't get a family, none of these things are described, but there are certain characteristics that are frequently stressed about this man. His mind is immersed in the hyper-mathematical. He has a strength of psyche that is capable of enduring pain, attention. And you also learn that there is a specific ritual, and you spotted this before, but you now start to practice it and learn it and internalize it, that the man used to ultimately travel from one world to the next. Some kind of hyperspace gate that allowed him to bend and open a portal that allowed him to travel to worlds far, far afield. So this is what you have gleaned from a full study. Goldie, how much of this do you think you're sharing with Leela and Marie during the course of travel?
When we have quiet moments, I do think she is she's always been the type of person to talk things out. So as she's learning these new things, she's, expressing them to you guys. Especially this person who it's so detailed but also so faceless, so unseen, so hidden from the gaze of Azathoth that it's even not explicitly stated in this book. And she's trying to puzzle it out and see if maybe this is ringing anything to you guys as a person.
So when we talked to... Yeah.
I was going to give you a roll if you want.
Yeah.
Give me an end roll.
Okay.
I know that's not Marie's.
If Bev was here, she actually has a theory, and I hope I'm right.
Yeah, Marie's just thinking back to Donovan, and Donovan talking, about sacrifice and, his wife, and that's sort of where her mind goes into, say. Oh, God. Nope, that's a 92 over 60.
You can push it. You can spin luck.
I will push it.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
95.
Okay. Give me a D6 roll.
2.
You take 2 points of sanity losses. Maybe part of pushing was you talking this out, maybe reading some of the gaze of Azathoth too, looking over the shoulder of Goldie. Goldie, you also need to make a... you are also going to lose some stuff here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you're going to... Hang on. Wrong window. You're gonna gain and you're gonna lose. So you're gonna gain some Cthulhu mythos. And you're going to lose some Asen. I'll get the numbers for you. 1 sec. You are going to... okay, you're going to gain 1d4... Yeah, 1d4 mythos. Because I already gave you the initial read one, right? I think so.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So I got 4 Cthulhu mythos.
And then you're going to lose... lucky. 1 point of sand.
Yay.
So okay. Marie just went down to 29 sand. So okay. she has kind of throughout all of this campaign hasn't been the bookworm type. She is, kind of more face, talk, flirt, sing, do those kinds of things. And so she's just getting frustrated with Goldie. Dr. Key is the one who knows these things. I don't remember. I do my best. I try to talk to everyone, but I just don't know. This is not what I thought was going to happen. I wasn't even sure I was going to get the ritual right. And I did, but I don't know.
Marie, don't discount yourself. You have been here through these entire events, from the very beginning, from Savannah. What calls out to you? What feels wrong?
Everything. And she's just looking at the sky and the ash, and I'm
sorry I'm not Bev. I know you guys relied on her, and I'm not what you want here in this moment, and I'm trying so hard to help where I can. Shit has hit the fan, Marie. The world is ending.
I know that. And we tried to solve one problem, and we've made it so much worse, but we couldn't what else are we supposed to do?
Marie, you have survived so much so far. Don't give up now. We can figure this out.
I've never understood. I've never understood any of this. There's names that I don't know how to pronounce, and I don't know what they mean. And people,
Let's talk through it. Let's walk through it. There's been numerous rituals that you guys have come across. Has there been people, obviously, besides Donovan sacrificing his wife? So we recognize sacrifice plays a huge part in this. Is there anyone else who is intended to be sacrificed?
I don't.
Any man that you've come across who's smart with mathematics, who he has a good mental shield against odd things, some sort of maybe protection?
I don't. I mean, there's every part of this cult. There's different men in different places that believe different things, and they don't even agree. They're all part of the same group in one way or another, but they don't agree, and everyone's lying to everyone and trying to keep their truths for themselves. And they have parties, and this goes back years and years and years of having these parties and trying to bring things forward in California, and the songs and the records, and distributing those all over the world from Mexico. And there's people everywhere who think that when you sing, it strengthens the mouth, and when everyone does nectar, then that helps. And they've tried to call things before years ago, and that's what started all of this. Was her father was in California, and Ayers was there, and Echeverria was there, and Henslow was there, and everyone was there. And we went to the barn where it happened, and they tried to call someone, and that's when there were a lot that died. And I don't know that they meant it to be a sacrifice, because they were all about drugs and sex and parties, but people died.
So I'm going to assume this conversation maybe has been happening on that crowded train as you're trying to get from Delhi back to Calcutta. You know that Lanfear and some of Mickey Walnuts' guys are hanging out waiting for you, right? And you are having this conversation. You're getting kind of sort of moved around here and there. Every now and then there's these random stops, in the middle of nowhere. They're not at stations, they're not at depots, and you see people just get flung off the train. Some of them are just muscled off. Other places you try to stop at a depot, and someone unhooks one of the train cars, and then the train keeps kind of pushing forward. Just chaos beginning to happen. And you also then make it at a certain point to Calcutta. And when the three of you get off the train, you look up and you see the skyline of Calcutta is awash with plumes of smoke. You can see that there are fires here and there. You see that there is this reddish tint now to the auroras that are casting and cascading across. There are sounds of people screaming. You're moving through the streets, and you look to a higher story building, and you just see some folks just fall off the side. And then as you're moving and pushing towards the hotel, which is in and of itself under disarray, you look around for any signs of a hotel manager, a bellhop, anyone working there, and you can just see everyone's almost free-for-alling. There's people fighting over cabs in the street. And as you're standing there watching someone steal a bicycle from another person, you hear the sounds of something in the sky. And the glass from the windows themselves shatters and starts to fall. We cut from there to Will, to Patrick, and to the withered remains of George Ayers. What do you think the three of you have been doing? Traveling, or something different?
we're in no state to travel yet. So if the villagers are happy to leave us alone, I think we would hole up in a hut on the edge of the village for a few hours, and Will would try to find some sort of supplies, some water, things like that, and get us ready to at least leave town, and patch us up, and then honestly, Will would probably be questioning Ayers first of all about how long he's been here, what's nearby, things like that. Is there anywhere we could go? Because he knows the area better than Will would. Yeah.
He is. Lines. He's fairly delirious, but he can let forth some little things here and there. He seems to know the place better than you. He'll point out trade routes where you could potentially find, nomadic tribes kind of coming through that you can hitch along with. He knows that to better tend to care for a camel. He knows maybe where some of the the Italians now have started to move and where some of the Foreign Legion has started to retreat from. And so he'll know those types of routes. And over the course of a few days, as the three of you are here resting, recuperating as best you can, he'll slowly more and more get some color back in his face, but he seems very far gone. And in answer to your questions, his voice is just a constant. It just feels painful, when you hear him talk.
Since you came to my hiding place, they took me and the one you called Shaima. They kept us in their dens.
Shaima was alive?
For a little while. But they kept me longer because they thought I was blessed. She was not so fortunate. Or maybe she was the fortunate one.
They killed her.
He just kind of, his head just goes up and down, and he doesn't really look at you.
They were worshipping the agony.
On the wind.
The mouth that... So they were worshipping the same thing that we're trying to kill. Ayers, we summoned... We summoned what was supposed to be an aspect of Golgoroth to destroy the connection Igolanak had, but after it happened, it said the gaze of Azathoth was upon us. Do you know what that could mean?
You see his lip trembles a little bit.
Ramon had texts on many gods and cosmic forces. I have not heard of a Golanak, but I have heard of Azathoth. He had in his library some tomes on
the Gaze of Azathoth was one of those books, and we have it. I don't have it on me anymore, but we collected it. But still, why would Golgoroth mention Azathoth?
I don't. I know the liar from beyond. I know that Echevarria, Ramon, he wanted to summon it in Los Angeles in 1924. I was not there. I know that he was interrupted by Winston and his investigators. And I know that none of us fully trusted Ramon, even those on his inner circle. Samson, Siragon, Montgomery did not know. Brooks, we all knew. He kept much of his inner thoughts from the cult, but he even kept some from us. All of us thought he was hiding something, but most believed it was the moniker, the liar, the thing with many mouths meant something. But he was not a trustful man. I am sorry, I don't know more.
Well, we met Golgoroth, or an aspect of Golgoroth, and he spoke to us. He was in my fucking head at one point, and he offered to help us destroy Egolanok, or at least his connection with the world, because it upset him to be impersonated. He took offense to what Egolanok was doing. Egolanok had... He was the connection with the mouths. That's why when we destroyed it, the mouths, they're all calcified. That's why your torso's scarred now. That's why Patrick's arm is free. So that, the liar from beyond, that was Egolanok, right?
Yes, it must be. Yes.
What's it matter anymore anyways? It's just names, right? The mouths, they seem to be calcified. It seemed that we destroyed them all the way in Mount Kailash, and they're destroyed here, so that makes sense they'd be destroyed worldwide. I guess that's mission accomplished, right? Doesn't really look good out there, though. And Will looks and sees the ash and the auroras and...
this cascading of fire of lightning that just seems to go across the horizon and just sort of moves back and forth and doesn't seem to stop. There's no rain that comes with it. It's just lightning coming down from the sky. What's Patrick doing, you think?
Rubbing up and down the back of my hand. It's really quiet now. Focusing on the silence, staring at the sky.
Do you think you guys travel? You think there's camels?
Once we feel well enough, Will would push for us to get going. Yeah.
And so similarly, as we saw to Goldie, Marie, and Leela, we see the three of you as best you can. And George is in a very precarious state. And Patrick, it probably occurs most to you than anyone. Your mouth was on your hand, and you can see a chunk of your hand is missing. Like there's like a huge scar. His was on his torso, and there's not holes, but depressions in his torso. As if whenever this thing fell, it took something of you with it. Your hand feels strange and numb and doesn't flex properly. The wounds that you had suffered from traveling through the body of the liar from beyond also burnt away at you, but you can tell that absence maybe of tendon, muscle, bone, it's likely happening to him, and he is not seeming to gain back strength the way that the two of you are. And Patrick, even in your state, as you get food and water, like the pain is still there, but your strength is not gone. But you can see that George is struggling. But you are able to, often because of him, find the paths. And so days pass in the heat, and then the heat, it's not as intolerable as it used to be. Thankful to strangeness of the overhead, these clouds everywhere, dodging lightning strikes from time to time. You see a rock or a cactus or plant out in the distance just suddenly burst into flames as lightning crashes. You see, as you travel, the remnants of some sort of nomadic group, and you see these huge black craters where strikes of lightning came down and obliterated them. Eventually, you kind of get yourselves further and further towards civilization, right? Towards where you could potentially find. And you hear the sounds of jeeps. You see in the distance at a trading post, jeeps kind of coming and fleeing. You hear the sounds of like voices kind of calling out to you. You see men in fatigues, these kind of dusty, desert-like fatigues, right? Speak to you in French. And then you hear a familiar voice say, "Will Sawyer? Will Sawyer? Is that you?"
Yeah, it's me. I look over.
And you see, like, hopping down from one of these jeeps, you see walking up to you, Jean Dubois, one of the French Foreign Legion officers that you came to know. That got very close with Shaima, in fact. You don't see Captain Moreau.
Hug, like, just runs up to him and just like...
Mr. Sawyer, what are you doing back here?
It's a long story. It's been a rough go. We need help. Patrick's hurt, but he's doing better. We've got another man who's injured.
He looks over towards Patrick. Mr. Price, I could barely recognize you. You have suffered. What has happened to you?
I've been pulled apart and put back together.
Well, it looks as though that is something that is going around these days. The whole world is being pulled apart, it seems. And he's like looking up at the sky, and as he does so, you hear a sudden, and as everyone like takes cover, thinking it's like some kind of airstrike. You see the windshields and some of the jeeps just suddenly shatter and break, and all of them guns just like looking around. We thought at first it was the Italians, but it is not. It is something else. We are not sure. Half of our number have fled. Some are. Do you have any idea what is happening?
The gods are upset.
The gods. Yes, that would be a very bad thing to do, to anger gods. Come, you cannot be out here. And so, like, they all, like,
we need your help.
Into these jeeps. Yeah.
We gotta get going. We need to get back to the U.S.
We can get you to Djibouti, but I must warn you, we have heard reports that it is everywhere. This is not just Africa. This is not just Ethiopia. It is everywhere. We have heard from our friends abroad. The sky looks like this. Every continent, Europe, Asia, America.
Yeah. Even a wire to Winston Rogers in the U.S. We were in Calcutta, and the same thing started happening there. We We've got friends in Calcutta. Marie's there and a couple other people you haven't met. But I think they'll head back to the U.S. because their business there was done. So we got to meet them there. Maybe we can fix this.
Well, if you can fix this, then we shall, with great speed. Let us go. And he kind of like gestures, like everyone, like you see a couple of these legionnaires like help. And you could tell that it looks like maybe he might be in charge. Like he might have moved up in the ranks. You don't see Pierre, who was taken by the Italians, and you don't see Captain Moreau, who Patrick had seen briefly inside Marseille. But then that was that. They help with George Ayres, but then we see like this next leg of this montage, you traveling in these jeeps, lightning strikes. You see one of them hits one of the jeeps in the convoy and just tumbles over. Rush back, you check, you gather who you can, you leave who you can't, and eventually you find yourselves in Djibouti. And
throughout the whole like traveling the montage, Will would just have told Dubois the entire story. Just like everything that they had ever learned up until this point, and then even the story of a creature coming from the sky and then plucking Will out, and then he ended up in Africa. As crazy as it sounds, and Will probably is acting very, very crazy at this point, but it just like all comes tumbling out, like he can't keep it in.
So you get back to Djibouti. You try to send telegrams, and Djibouti itself is just in panic. There's people in streets. The prayer bells are going off at strange times. There are people who are crowding in various temples and shrines and praying as best they can. Others are laying in the streets like prostrate, like looking up at the sky for anything. The sun doesn't seem to be functioning the way it's supposed to function. And so it's causing all sorts of disruption to holy prayer. And the base is maintaining some semblance of order, but you certainly hear stories of people going AWOL, people disappearing. You try to send telegrams, phone calls. They sometimes connect. They sometimes don't connect. You might even give me a luck test, actually. Either one of you. Nope, not Patrick. Patrick's got like no luck because he had to do his luck spin to survive.
Yeah.
Will, go ahead and use luck.
All right, my luck is 69. Nice. I rolled a 77.
Okay.
Oh,
it's just
not nice.
You're not able to get in touch with Janet Winston Rogers, and it could just simply be that whatever chaos is happening in Arkham, a person has to actually monitor a telegram, right? A person has to actually do that. Okay. We'll cut from there, and we'll come back to Calcutta. And we see Marie, we see Goldie, we see Leela at the base. We see them like rush inside this hotel. There's no one at the desk. And you make it up to your rooms. And the elevator isn't in service. You see like little smears of blood here and there. You see some stuff on the ground. There's definitely some scuffles have occurred. And you make it to your rooms. And there are a lot of the rooms in the hotel are open and looted and destroyed. But you get to yours. And you go inside, and you can see that, similar to the others, it's been tossed here and there. But as you're looking around, there's no sign of Cyrus Lanfear. There's no sign of Mickey Walnuts' guys. You don't notice any of your belongings, the suitcases, the tomes, etc. But you do see a message kind of written on like the wall itself, and it's pointing to a airport and a hangar and a date, and they'll stay as long as they can. And it seems to be from Cyrus.
Yeah, if Goldie recognizes his handwriting, she's gonna push for us to go and get there. I have a question about the spell I learned. Is it specifically only to other worlds, or am I able to control the location?
Certainly cast it, but there's a couple things that you would know, Goldie. First of all, you would have to be able to see the place. You had to have seen the place. Like you can't teleport to a place that you've never seen before. You have to be able to actually see it, or envision it in some fashion. And you would also know that every time you cast, it will take a part from you. It will take something from you.
Yeah.
And anyone who passes through it, it will take something from them as well. So mechanically, you're basically sacrificing power and magic points anytime you cast, and the amount that you cast is scaled based upon how far away you want to go. And the thing, and then mechanically, people are losing sand as they step through.
Okay.
Which of you has the highest luck? Give me a luck test.
I have 50.
57?
57.
Okay. One of you 57s, give me a luck test. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mel.
You got this.
Okay.
All right.
Here we go. So important.
You got this.
4!
You got a 4? You got an extreme? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
All right. Extreme success. The phone rings.
Yes.
You have a phone inside.
Okay.
It's a very high-end hotel. The phone
I
rings.
will answer the phone.
And Will, what do you say when someone picks up on the other end of the hotel room where you thought you were getting Cyrus Lunfear, but instead that is not what you hear?
Is Cyrus there?
No, he's not. This is Leela. Who is this?
Oh shit, Leela, it's Will.
Will, where the fuck are you?
Africa. I've got Patrick, and we have another stray as well. You just tell the others we have George Ayers. He's not doing well. He may not make it much longer.
Pull the phone. Will's in Africa with Patrick,
What?
and they found George Ayers.
Dude, that makes no sense.
None of this. That is the most sensible thing out of everything that's happened.
Goldie's gonna snatch the phone from Leela.
Which is fine with Leela.
Will, okay. I need you to think really hard about your time and adventures. From the very beginning, the gaze of Azathoth isn't necessarily attached to Earth, but it's attached to a person who's like the anchor, and he's this person. They're supposed to be really smart with like mathematics, and he may have been involved in other rituals. I need you to think, who could that be? We need to get to America, I think.
Goldie, I've only been, I haven't been here since the beginning. There's kind of an apocalypse going on outside.
Meanwhile, Leela is asking me, who the fuck is George Ayers? And why was it important for me to tell you he was there?
He's alive?
I need you to ask Patrick if he's still there in George and see if they know. We need to... I think this is how we stop it. The world is ending.
Patrick, Goldie's talking about an anchor, and I'm like holding the phone like to both our ears at this point.
Phone tag at this point.
Like old school receiver.
No one can hear anything. We're all talking over each other. She wants to know about some sort of anchor, someone who is good at mathematics.
Who was like recruited.
Ramon was at UCLA, right? Could it have been someone there?
Back to where it all started.
Right,
with
but
Walter,
who?
Ramon, all of them are Job. That man in the ward.
Henslow and Job were both in the ward, weren't they?
Yes, both of them are at Joy Grove. We think that's where the answer to this is? We're going back to Savannah? Patrick,
Goldie,
I'm
this
so
is
glad to
your
hear
idea.
your voice.
Say something.
Goldie, if that's who you think it is, like, because, you know, if Bev was here and Ashley was here, I would definitely have numerous opinions, but Goldie has none.
You've read the book? If the gaze of Azathoth follows a man, and that is the description of the man, and we think this is the description, it would... I think Bev had spoken about that being... He was recruited or something back in LA for the original 1924. It would make sense.
Okay, so we're going to Savannah.
We just... yes.
If we can get there, is the
go.
world going to survive for us to travel to Savannah?
Yeah.
It's been a couple weeks already. It can take another couple weeks, right?
What the fuck
I don't think
choice
so.
we have? That's our only next step.
Do we keep interfering? We've interfered this much, and look at what we've done. We can fix this.
You want to just walk away now, Murray? It's kind of a little late.
I mean,
The only thing left is to try and stop
this.
it.
Patrick, are we going to Savannah?
Left.
Yes.
Let's get there the best we can.
All right, we go to Savannah. If that doesn't work, we go to Arkham. We know that there was evidence of the cult in both places. If anything, all our notes and books and materials are in Arkham. Do you guys have Cyrus?
He's at an airport.
Maybe.
And Marie's reading the note on the wall.
At an airport? We'll get to the airport. Go fly to Savannah.
That's
You
what we're
called
trying
us.
to do.
That's why we're talking to you.
We're going to an airport. I'll meet you in Savannah.
Go to Savannah, and we need to find this Job and Henslow. It's one of them.
They're in a locked facility. They are where they are. They should be staying.
Hopefully,
put.
have you seen the hotel in the Insanity?
Will, it's good to hear your voice. Patrick, it's good to hear your voice. We'll see you in a while.
Goldie just hangs up the phone.
Leela, you brought us up the mountain, and I didn't think we were even going to get up the mountain, and you brought us safely back down the mountain. We've made a mess of everything. You can help us. You can help us fix this.
Of course, I have to. I have also helped make a mess of everything. I'd let you do the things you did. This is just as much my fault as it is yours.
It's none of our faults. This started.
Okay, no, it's very definitely our fault.
We didn't do this in 1924. That's what started all of this. We've just been trying to pick
whatever.
up the pieces.
I don't really have the energy to document whatever. Can we go?
Yes, absolutely. And we're outside hailing a ride to the airport, if that's even possible.
You try. Give me a luck test. You see that there are car crashes.
You do it this time, right?
There's bodies on the ground. There's symbols that are sprawled, like holy symbols sprawled on walls and on the ground itself. There's the sounds of like bells and sirens cascading throughout the smell of fire. It is, it looks like something out of like a science fiction book, like something that is unreal. How'd you do?
Success, regular.
Okay.
Hell yes.
You're unable to flag down a cab, but there is a crashed vehicle nearby, door open, rider unaccounted for. You do hear the sounds of the engine kind of humming. So we see the three of you pour into it.
Goldie,
Marie.
Leela, there's a car there. I can, and Marie has a 40 drive.
Yeah.
I know, yeah. Kicks it into reverse, pulls away, something falls.
Hell yes.
You hear the sound, like you thump over something, and you start driving through the streets. Leela, you're able to help direct, and you find yourselves at this airport where it looks like there is a crashed plane that maybe you can't tell if it was trying to come up or if it was like trying to take off and crash, or if it's trying to land. But you see a crashed plane, you see black pillars of smoke, you see fire. You can see the tower itself is kind of has sort of suffered some kind of damage. There's cars that are funneling in people trying to like grab bags and things out of their vans and out of their cars and trying to push forward into the main terminals. And when you find yourselves just driving and bypassing all of that, like running over a fence, and you're driving across the tarmac, so to speak, and as you approach the hangar that you were directed to go to, suddenly you hear the sounds like of a gunshot and like a second gunshot, and then you see in your windshield two little bullets come there, and you swerve and you kind of crash, and you see they're coming from the hangar itself, which has been boarded up. There's like a cut in one of the walls, like where there's like a window should be, and somewhere from in there is where the gunshot came out of. What do you do?
Goldie has a very eclectic clothing, and that she hopes that if this is Cyrus shooting at us, he may be aware of. And so she'll like throw a shawl out the window as we're ducking and taking cover, hoping that this will kind of like a white flag, like, hey, this is us. This is your crazy bitch, Goldie.
You throw your colorful shawls and such out the window, and like when you put your hands up and you kind of poke up, the gunshots fire. You see the hangar door opens, and you see there's Cyrus kind of limping out. His arm is in a sling. His leg is kind of dragging behind him. You see the two walnut guards kind of coming with him. They both have guns. You see one of them's got like a Tommy gun slung over their shoulder. The other one you can tell is carrying some kind of rifle, and they each have like pistols, and they're like coming out. And right as it's this happy moment to see, one of them takes aim and fires right at the three of you. But the bullet passes right past you, and you look back and you see there was a man that was like racing up, charging, has like some sort of weapon like in the air, and he was like charging at you, and suddenly he flies back and kind of lands down dead there on the airport. Cyrus comes up to you.
It's good to see all of you. What happened?
We were successful. In some ways, Goldie understands us more than I do. Leela and I will put everything in the plane.
And Goldie goes to like kind of help him, and hopefully we're heading back towards the hangar as she's, telling him, kind of looping him in like with her theory. Do you think we have the plane? Do we have time to fly? Things have escalated so quickly. I learned a spell, but I haven't been to Savannah. I have to have seen it.
We can fly. We have fuel. We have a pilot. We can't guarantee that along the way we'll be able to get more fuel, but we have to try. We tried to secure your vessel, but it was taken.
And he's referencing like the elegance of the yacht, but
yeah.
But we can go. I spoke with Miss Winston Rogers yesterday. She said that what we're seeing here, they are seeing in Arkham. There is chaos. Chaos, Goldie, everywhere. The sky is bleeding. It's raining ash all across Arkham, Massachusetts, Providence, everywhere.
It's the gaze of Azathoth. It's if we don't stop it, if it's anchored on a person, and it's either Henslow or Job. Have you read those in Bev's notes?
We can talk on the plane. Bev, Henslow, he was one of the investigators. Yeah, he was one of Winston's. Yes.
And like the two of you are like coming back. You see like Marie is like, and maybe Leela are like loading up, and you see the people with guns like guarding you and like kind of getting everything ready.
Henslow was one of Winston's. He was an investigator. He wasn't part of the cult. He was one of us, or one of you.
It must be the other then.
Job, he was a student. UCLA. He mathematics. He was he did not excel. He was not a bright man, but he worked. Ayers. He was one of Ayers' students. Yes. He brought him in. That's all I remember about him. Yeah, they're both in Joy Grove.
That's where we need to go then.
Then let us go.
And he's like wincing as you see like his arm is in a sling. You can see there's blood. It's definitely seemed like the three of them have suffered a couple attacks along the way, but he kind of limps back and...
Thank you so much for waiting.
Of course.
And we see you all get on the plane. We see the plane leave the hangar, taxi out on the runway, As you guys are looking out the windows, you see one of Walnuts' guys is up in the cockpit, and he's like, I'm not as good as Frankie Boy, but any landing, I guess you can walk away from, right? That's the phrase. And you guys look out the windows, and you see that there are people racing after you, and they're like holding up money. You can see some of them are like shooting at the plane with guns. You can see there are other like cars that are driving in your direction as well. And then you see right in front of you, there is this sudden crash of lightning as it strikes down right in the runway itself. You feel the plane kind of swerve and whirr around it, and then whoosh, you're up in the air. We cut over to Djibouti. Will, Patrick, you just got off the phone.
Desperately holding hands because the last time we were on a fucking plane.
Yes.
Yeah. In far better conditions than there are right now. Will, Patrick, you're back in Djibouti. You just got off the phone with Leela. If you speak with Jean about travel.
We put it very bluntly to Jean. Do you want to save the world?
He looks at you. Yes, of course. What can I do?
We need a plane. It's going to involve a slight abandonment of duty, but I guarantee if this works, you are going to get a shit ton of medals.
And he says, he like grins, and he points to some of his insignia on his jacket, and he says, Mr. Sawyer, you were not a very good legionnaire. Look at me.
What was that?
I am the captain now. And all of you start to load up onto the plane. Do you want to take George Ayres with you? There's no guarantee he's going to survive the flight. The medic suggests that he's dying.
Because Goldie mentioned Job, and we know that Ayres was at UCLA, I would want to at least talk to him and say, like, we are going to find Job and ask him everything we can about Job and ask him if he wants to come.
Okay. Give me a test. Give me a charm test or something like that. Whatever you think you're using. Persuade.
Patrick, are you helping ask this?
Are you saying your persuade is lower than mine?
My persuade is 50.
It's higher.
I'm just not as charming. Okay. I'm better at lying to people is the problem.
Yeah, fast talk is Will's, right?
Yeah. Okay, we did okay. That's 33 under 50. Not a hard success. But I don't want to, like, make it a... I don't want to pressure him. If he doesn't want to come, he doesn't have to.
When you bring up Job, he says, Edgar was a good man, a young man. I should never have brought him into this. He was bright, but he was not it came hard to him, the math. But he worked, and he worked. He was not my best student. He didn't get A's.
Who was your best student?
They had nothing to do with the cult. Young man, I believe he went to graduate school. Somewhere in Massachusetts. But
Why would Ramon pick someone who's... If he was that unremarkable, why introduce him to Ramon? Why did Ramon favor him?
I didn't say he was unremarkable. I said he was not my best student. And I said it did not come easy to him. But I have never seen a student with more perseverance, even in the face of failure and mundanity. He always worked, and that came to him eventually, harder than the others. And I think he might have appreciated it more. That's why I took a liking to him. That's why I introduced him to Ramon. I shouldn't have done that. Ramon was very interested in him.
He was an impressionable young man, Edgar was. I should have protected him. What does he have to do with this? Why are you asking these questions now?
One of our researchers thinks that Ramon created a sort of anchor for Azathoth in Job. Job is an anchor. And if we can, I don't know, if we can sever that connection, maybe this whole apocalypse ends? Who knows?
Kind of thinks, nods like he's working through some things.
There were times that Ramon had private meetings with Edgar. He did not do that with others outside of the inner circle. Samson, myself, Job, Edgar. He would get attention. But he was never given extra responsibility. He was never elevated the way the rest of us has. But Ramon was still interested. I thought it was perhaps something more than the cult, that he just fancied him. But maybe. Yes, maybe.
Well, we're going to Savannah to try and help Job, try to end all this. I know you're not feeling well, but if you want to come with us and try to help, we can take you.
Looks to you. Looks to Patrick. And remember, this is the man, Patrick, that taught you the rituals of self-denial, the ability to deny oneself of pleasure and connection. And he says,
I have remained disconnected for far too long. I will go with you. In such a state that I am.
And we see a couple medics from the Legion come in, try to help him out. We see you all load up a plane. Far less difficulty than we saw in Djibouti, as you are on a relatively stable base. But it is still, there are still issues. None of them get that close to the airport itself. And we see your plane suddenly take off. The travel of both planes is not without adventure and not without trouble. Multiple times when you land at a stop where you're supposed to refuel, resupply, it is awash with panic. You can see fires as you fly over top of various cities. You can see even into the forests, the wilderness themselves, there's fires. Sometimes it almost looks as though the sky itself is on fire. It's very difficult to sleep on the plane as the windows are awash with light. Night never properly comes. Like, you know it should be there. But then you're all just seeing this cascade of red and green light. The strikes of lightning periodically hit the plane, and they cause you all to shake from time to time. Those loud brums that seem to come out of nowhere throw the instruments into some wild, crazed panic, as if the very poles of the planet seem to be inverting, and navigation becomes much more challenging. But you all find yourselves eventually in Savannah. The problem, however, is that there is nowhere to land in Savannah. You see, when you approach, that it almost is like the nexus point, as if the eye of a storm, but rather than peace, it is this nexus of chaos. You see
lightning raining down in streams. It looks like actual rain, but it is just electricity coming down in these huge patches. You see this strange blue light coming out of various buildings and streets that throw these odd shadows in different directions. And you find yourselves having to land outside of the city. The airport itself seems awash and run over. There's nothing there. The very place where you all visited. And you find yourselves landing, and I'll say, because you have radios on planes, over time, it may not be perfect. Maybe one plane gets there first and it takes a couple days for the next one to show. But you find yourselves together again, somewhere outside of Savannah. And tucked away, taking camp maybe in some abandoned, like sort of plantation home that no one seems to be in any longer. They've evacuated, fled. And you find yourselves meeting up there. And you both tell a similar tale. Maybe you went in different directions. Maybe you had different routes. But every city, every depot, every place that you have flown, this chaos has been seen. But nowhere has it been so bad as this nexus point with all this lightning coming down over top of Savannah itself. And you're all together for the first time in months, maybe a month and a half or so. And in that time, the world has come apart. And there's the five of you. There is Jean Dubois. He is with you. There is Cyrus Lanfear. There's two of the Walnut guards. And I'm going to need a luck test from somebody to see if George Ayres made it. I'll let it be the person who has the highest luck can roll it. This is going to determine whether or not George Ayres made the flight. Or survived the flight.
I'm at 69. How are you guys?
That's you.
My 0.
7.
You got it.
Patrick, you could have re-rolled your luck at the start. You would have gotten luck at the start.
You got a little bit at the start of the session.
Beginning of session luck. You're guaranteed to fail. So,
That is a 001 on my luck.
Wow.
Critical success? Somehow, through force of will, through literal will, he managed to survive the flight. And I'll say he is here as well. He still looks quite terrible, but he is here as well. You hear the sounds of, like, in the distance, the lightning striking maybe even the house itself. But you are all here. Are all of you going to try to press into Savannah itself, try to make your way to Joy Grove, or are some of you staying behind?
Yeah, Marie's going to run to Patrick, like, as soon as she sees him. Mr. Rice, it's so good to see you. And gives him a big hug.
I'm alive, Marie.
I did not think I would see you again after you fell. And how's your, and she just sort of like grabs for kind of his left wrist. How was your hand?
It's a big chunk of me missing now. But I'm free from it.
But we did something. We can do this. Right?
Put all of our heads together. This Edgar Job fella. Something about him.
It seems to have put it all together and putting. I can't imagine that we would be back here ever again. I thought when I came here for that wedding that was going to be the last time I would see Savannah, but we'll do this.
Let's press on to Joy Grove. Are you guys ready?
I'm okay too, Marie. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And Marie just kind of gives him a, little kind of punch in the arm kind of a thing. It's good to see you, Mr. Sawyer.
And Leela, you stuck around.
Yeah. You can't cause damage like this and just walk away from it.
This is very sweet, and I appreciate it, but can I stress the world is fucking ending?
Yes, I completely agree.
Well,
yes,
we need
we'll hurry.
a litter or something to carry Ayers to get him to a car.
We can't fucking carry him over there. He needs to stay here.
The ceiling caves in on this plantation that you have been hunkering in. Maybe we'll say the women, you showed up first, and just recently Will and Patrick came in minutes after your hug, after your greeting. Lightning strikes, the cascading Brahm of whatever the force of Azathoth's gaze is suddenly cascades through and just rips the entirety of this roof clean free. Some of it falls down into the actual mansion itself. Some of it falls out. Everybody, give me a dodge test. By the way, all of you, it's been a lot of time, so you're all back up to full health because you would have been healing this whole time.
Thank goodness.
So don't worry about that. You can reset your daily sands.
Okay.
But then I need everyone to roll a dodge test as the ceiling tries to cave in on you.
Okay. I'm going to take a boost.
Even now, huh? Can't just let it ride.
Especially.
Can't just, in the finale, let fate have its day.
Don't worry, Jeff, I got you.
I didn't even need it.
Did you fail, Will?
I rolled a 96 over 56.
Okay, well, it's not a critical fail. Not a critical fail. Okay.
I also failed so well.
Okay.
If that helps.
Goldie, how did you do?
I spent 13 luck to pass.
Okay. And Patrick?
I failed.
Okay, everybody who failed, go ahead and take 2 points of damage as you are caught up in the fall of this. And then let me roll a couple checks for your NPCs. He's the captain now. That's a 14 for old Jean.
Hey.
Your Walnuts guys pass. George Ayers just not pass. But he'll take 2 points of damage, but he's still alive. But you can see as this thing crashes down on you, many of you are getting kind of hit with beams. You're getting hit with brick, stone. You're getting hit with wood. And a fire starts to flush up within the actual plantation itself. I'm assuming all of you rush outside, and as you rush outside, once more, you can see in front of you, like feet away, the lightning crashes down in front of you. You look off in the distance to the southeast where you know Joy Grove is, somewhere down there, and it just looks on the horizon like lightning is in a constant state of fall somewhere out there. You gear up, you steal whatever truck or vehicle that you want to take, and you start working your way there. You're working through a mass exodus of people fleeing Savannah. You're seeing people in vehicles, you're seeing people on horseback, you're seeing people on foot. Some are kind of looking at you and trying to warn you, don't go that way. You're hearing stories about the lightning, about a blue light, about manifestations of some kind, about the very buildings and shadows themselves will take you. Marie, at one point, you hear the sounds of a voice cutting through the engine, cutting through the lightning. You hear, Miss Wynn? Miss Wynn, is that you?
Yes. Who is it?
And you see in the midst of this group of people who are like kind of trudging along, and they're like dragging these packs behind them, you see a blonde woman with hair that looks remarkably like yours, as if intentionally styled as such. You see a young man, maybe a year or two older, big. You know them as Stephanie and Henry. What, a year and a half ago or so, you came, you sang for them.
At their wedding.
And you also notice that trudging behind them is Phil. Phil is Stephanie's brother. Phil was spoken to initially by our dear friend Shima. And you see that there's something very clearly wrong with Phil. You can see that, not unlike Patrick, he's coated and covered in blisters and sores, but he doesn't seem to be reacting to them. He's moving along. They almost have him like on a tether, like on a leash as they're trying to usher him forward. And like every now and then Stephanie will kind of turn around and try to get, no, come on. And then Henry too. And it's like, oh, come on, boy, come on. And he's just babbling and he's twitching and you can see his eyes kind of stare up each time a lightning strike comes nearby. And his like one good arm reaches out to it. You see like a little bit of blood start to seep from some of his blisters. And Stephanie like calls out to you, Miss Wynn, oh my God, what are you doing here? Oh, you need to help us, please.
What has happened? What happened?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think it's the end. It's the end of days. It's the end of time. Savannah, don't go that way, Miss Wynn. Don't go that way. No, you can't go that way.
You should not. You must get to safety, but this is the way that we must go.
We're leaving. We can't. The lightning, it's like rain. It just won't stop falling. It won't stop crashing. And the light, it just comes out from shadows, and then it makes no sense. And then there's other shadows, and then Henry said he saw Mama. He saw Mama. Just burst into flames.
Oh.
Just burst into flames.
You must not believe the things that your eyes are showing you. But Phil, how long has he been like this?
Since then. But Miss Wynn, it's happening. It's all happening. It's happening. Everything. Watch. Be careful. And then like Henry's like, they're telling the truth. You gotta. It ain't figments, Miss Wynn. It's watch the shadows. Everything. Don't go upstairs. Don't go downstairs. The walls themselves are turning on us. Everything. It's just shadows and light and shadows and light, and it's you can fall into them. I saw a fella. I knew him. I known him since we were boys, and I saw him, and then he went around the corner, and then he was gone, Miss Wynn. The corner took him. Angles, they just everything. Stay away from them. Don't go near them. They swallow you up. They burn you up, Miss Wynn. They burn them all up. You can't go in there. You can't go that way.
Thank you.
It's dangerous. Come with us. We got some friends up in Carolina. You can come with us. If you got, y'all can come with us. Every one of you can come with us. We got a spread up there. We can help you.
You must go. You must go. We have things that we need to do here. Thank you for everything that you've told us. I'm so glad to see that you're, and she's about to say well and looks at Phil.
Yeah.
Glad to see that you were alive. Thank you for the warnings, but you are right. You must get out of Savannah. It's worst here.
Mama, you don't look so good.
He says to you. He's just sort of looking aimlessly up.
Yeah.
What are the rest of you doing? Why Marie is like slowing things down. Like you're trying to press forward, and you can see like Jean is like looking at you. We must go. We must go.
At one point, Goldie will just kind of loop her arm with Marie and tug her along and be like, I'm sorry, but we have to try and stop this. Wish us luck, but we have to go.
And Marie's face is sort of just softened to Phil, and then she feels herself kind of pulled along. I'm so sorry to all of you, but you're right. Get out of Savannah. Get out of Savannah, and hopefully this will pass. Be safe. Be safe. And she says that as Goldie is rightfully dragging her away.
And you hear them like calling your name as you go.
You have to ignore them, Marie. We have to focus.
No, you're right. You're
Will
very
pulls
right.
out his pistol and fires a shot into the air and says, "Time to get going."
People scatter, like they duck and hide, and then you hear gunshots firing back in your direction. You hear plunk, 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 as they're off some of these trucks and stuff here and there. Goldie, give me a Cthulhu Mythos test. Anybody who actually has Cthulhu Mythos is allowed to roll this. But Goldie, I think, makes the most sense considering her studies.
Yeah,
I got a 10. Can I give it a shot?
Yeah, you can give it a go. You guys have had a lot of conversations that we haven't necessarily role played out, so there's probably some things that you might have
be taking 2 boosts just to call it out.
Just don't want to let fate have its day.
Thank you, audience. You didn't even need it.
I'm going to add.
You didn't even
need it. I'm going to add one
it.
of the many complications I have, and I'm going to put Cthulhu into this, in addition to all these other gods I've thrown in here.
You did just get
look out to the coast.
An additional complication today.
Okay.
We have been waiting for his call.
I got a regular success.
So you were listening in.
Yeah.
You got a regular success? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because my goal would be 44 with the boosts, but that doesn't change anything, right? It's just my normal degree.
Hey, yeah. I mean, what did you roll?
I rolled
22.
Still didn't get half
24.
under.
She succeeded on her own.
Excuse me.
You're okay. You succeeded. Calm down.
Okay. That's all. I'm scared.
You hear these stories. You hear Phil was mumbling about Mama just sort of burning alive. You hear these stories about from Henry, a friend of his, just disappearing behind the corner of a building. Maybe you hear mumbling about even drawings, just like hopscotch on the sidewalk, causing burns to those young children, like hopping across. And this glow that seems to be seeping out from these shadows and then casting shadows of their own, impossible from every understanding of science. You were able to start not piecing some things together, but it sounds to you like it's an intensification of the attention of the god Azeroth. Yeah. And it's not just the sky, it's not just the light, it's not just these strikes of lightning, the ash falling, but now it seems that the very barriers between dimensions are starting to break down. There's like a corrosive effect that is it's essentially because of the scrutiny that you're getting. All of these sort of membranes between these dimensions are starting to corrode, and there's weak points. And what that means is that there's like energy of some kind of radiation seeping out from them, and it's more than likely going to continue in this fashion until those barriers utterly break and the entire world is incinerated. You can go ahead and roll sand test for that, by the way.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. As you...
failure. 94.
Okay. You can take 2 points of sand loss at the thought of that.
Okay. And
realizing how the world is going to end is probably going to fuck with you a little.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Goldie just continues to babble about time. How we're wasting time. We need to move faster. We need to get there. The barriers between these realms is corroding, and they're phasing in between each other. They're just touching more than they should, and that, we don't want it to fully break over and fully focus its gaze upon us. And she's just babbling and frantically tugging on Marie to just hurry up, stop talking to these people. It's bad.
And I think Marie had a little bit of sanity of just seeing these people and having this fairly normal conversation. But she then you're sort of losing it a little and kind of dragging her along. And then she just starts sort of singing a nonsensical song of as if she's sort of having conversations with all of the people that aren't with us anymore. And so we're just two people losing our minds running.
Yeah. And Goldie just calls, we're at the end. This is it. Either we succeed and hopefully things return to normal, or we don't and the world fucking ends and it's all our fault. And she's just catastrophizing.
You guys push forward. You get shot at a few times thanks to Will. Eventually, you find yourselves taking a familiar back road. Gets you to Joy Grove. You can tell when you arrive that it's not Savannah itself that is the eye of this, but it's Joy Grove. Every tree of any significant height has been struck by lightning at least 3-4 times. You could see an entire wing of the sanitarium has burned to the ground. You can see bodies of former inmates. You can see nurses, doctors, all over the ground. The ash that you've seen piling everywhere is feet thick. So much so that you have to stop driving. You have to get out. You have to walk. It starts to clog up the engines, and eventually they stall. You see George Ayres like struggling, falling, constantly having to have somebody help him, slowing you down. You can see that the ash is kind of collecting here and there into these like caricatures, these perverse caricatures of like a snowdrift 10, 12 feet in height at times, and then just falling over on top of you as you move past it. You see the lightning coming down in almost a full and steady stream all around, striking the ground, striking the building. Windows have been blown out. You see cars have been flipped. There's not that many. You don't see anyone outside moving in any particular way. There's no activity other than this lightning strike. And you see, so hard to describe, but you see this blue light that just seems to be glowing from all of these different corners, from where you see one of these boxy looking cars is flipped over on the side, from around the corner of the building itself to some kind of vent box towards the second or third floor. The whole thing is just pulsing with this blue light. What do you all do?
Get inside there. Find any signs of Job. Maybe even Henslow. Any of them. Gotta find where that Job Ed guy is.
So we're looking for like a broken window or open door or anything to...
Oh, there's plenty of broken windows. There's cracks in the wall, doors thrown wide open. There is nothing interfering with your ability to get inside the building.
Leela's gonna get a physical description of Job and Henslow so she can help with looking.
He's a bit of a frail man. Short hair.
Would I believe that he'd be in the center of everything? Like, it's focused on him. So the blue light is kind of what we really need to head towards.
You've seen blue light elsewhere. Like, it's not necessarily just this building.
Okay.
The closer and closer you get to this, you're seeing it pouring out of various, like the sides of buildings, angles themselves. The geometry of everything looks maddening. Shadows being cast in ways that make no utter sense. Your mind begins to sort of go through the math, the equations of it all, what degrees. Just nothing specifically makes sense.
As we approach, Leela is going to call Job, Henslow, are you there? She's gonna call their names.
So everyone's going inside. I just want to make sure we're all inside. Everyone's moving in.
Yeah, Will would be carrying Ayres as much as possible, hopefully with Jean's help.
Okay, so the two of you, like, you're both carrying him, or you're kind of handing him back and forth?
Yeah, like we've both got an arm over our shoulder as much as possible.
Okay. Do you guys spread out? Do you scatter?
Yeah, let's not stick together. This lightning's raining down. We all get hits. Okay. Might be over.
Yeah, Marie would try to remember where the rooms were.
As Patrick says that, lightning strikes down through the ceiling, breaks through every floor, and you see that it comes in contact with Goldie. Goldie, I need you to make, you have to make a dodge test.
Okay.
You got this.
Take Guardian's
Look out.
dice. Take it.
It's too late.
Or don't. And recognize that we're in the finale, and sometimes it's okay to play the game straight.
Failed. 43.
Okay. All right.
Would have passed if you took audience dice.
You're going to take 4 points of damage as you get hit by one of these strikes of lightning that rips through the ceilings above you. You go falling down to the ground. You kind of get caught up in this ash. A second strike comes down as well, almost like seeping through one of the windows. This one is actually going to hit Patrick. Patrick, give me a dodge test.
For the 55, I failed.
You failed?
Yes.
Okay. Don't forget about pushing. Don't forget about luck. You guys can do these types of things. 5 points of damage to you, Patrick. So you guys split off. Do you 5 stay together? Do you like stick together, or do you like send the NPCs off one way? You guys go a different way? Do you kind of go pair and pair? Like, what is it you think you do?
I think Will would want to take Ayers directly through the front door, just the easiest route possible.
Okay, you go inside. Absolutely. You push through the front door. You hear Leela calling behind you for air, for Job, for Henslow. There's no reaction. You see piles of ash. You see some of them covering what looks like bodies. Orderlies, nurses, doctors, inmates. There is this ever-present, constant blue-tinged light that seems to be emanating from everywhere, Will. It's everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It's everything that it seems to illuminate, as it hits, like the reception desk, seems to cast an impossible shadow that then casts a shadow. Then gives off the light and cascading in this way throughout. And as you're standing there with George Ayers in your hands, feeling this moment of disorientation, trying to get your bearings, you suddenly feel very sick. You hear George Ayers, and I need you to roll a luck test, Will.
All right, luck is 69. Nice. My luck is doing well. That's 006 again.
Oh my gosh.
Or not again, but
single digits.
You recognize that this thing is doing something to you, and you're able to back away fast enough so that it doesn't harm you. However, George is not so lucky, as he starts to vomit in your arms, spills over onto your clothes, and you see, not unlike what happened with Patrick with those acidic burns, you see this blistering, they suddenly pop, skin starts to curl away, just like the man that Marie was talking to on the road.
Try to pull us both out.
You can step back away from it. Okay. So describe for me how you're going about searching. So Leela, you've called, you're just moving through the halls and calling out. You can roll a luck test. Don't tell me the answer just yet. Just you can roll a luck test.
Okay.
Patrick, how are you searching?
Going through the rooms. If there's any still standing, the structures make any sense. Just going through rooms, seeing if there's people lying about.
Okay. You can take a spot hidden or navigate. One of those things can do. Marie, how are you moving throughout the rooms and searching?
I would say maybe she'll try to go to Dr. Keaton's office and try to kind of remember where that was and see if he's still here.
Give you an intelligence test just to remember the path. Goldie, how are you moving and searching?
She would be heading towards the floors where in Bev notes it was documented, or Shima's notes actually, that Job and Henslow had these signs that they had put up inscribed to protect themselves. So I think Goldie's thinking that that's maybe where he's holding up and hiding.
Okay. Give me a spot hidden test maybe to see if you can find those rooms with those markings, considering the horrible state of affairs in the asylum. Okay. And then Will, what are you doing?
Realizing that can't do much with Ayers, can't go through any of that light. I think I would set him back like as sheltered as he can be, like in the main door frame, but not inside. And then I think he's thinking lightning is up above. Hell, let's just try to get to the second floor. And he wants to like climb up to the second floor.
Okay, give me a climb test. Okay, let's go back. Leela, I asked you to roll a luck test.
Yeah.
How did you do?
Regular 34 under 57.
So you're calling out. You're getting no voice back But as you maybe with Goldie are kind of looking around, you notice like on one of the doors, you see, so like a patient room, you see Henslow. You see the door has been bent and kind of pulled off its hinges. You look inside, it's padded. You see no signs of anyone inside. But, Goldie, how did you do with your spot hidden test?
Regular success, 29 under 50.
You notice those various glyphs and things on the walls, but you see that the paper that they have been written on is just in this process of just being burned away by whatever this blue light is emanating from the room itself, from the corners of the room that just seems to be pulling outward. It has no effect whatsoever.
Oh, shit.
Patrick, how did you do?
I failed, but I'd like to push it.
Go ahead, man.
The push gave me an extreme.
Hell
Extreme
yes.
success?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shit.
Okay. Extreme success, Patrick. You're looking around, you're going in and out of these rooms. Again, you see no signs of people, at least no one living. There's a handful of bodies. It certainly, you get the impression, like this was likely evacuated at some point. A few people hung back for whatever reason, but it looks like a lot of people aren't here. You come across maybe a kind of an evacuation emergency map on a wall. And there's something that you notice, Patrick. And it helps you, first of all, maneuver. But you notice that most of the rooms on the second floor, third floor, etc., these little rectangular rooms here and there. But you notice something about the basement. That there is an operating room. Like for actual operations, doing something. Maybe it's electroshock therapy, maybe it's something more intrusive. But it's circular. You've been hearing all this talk about the angles, and you see now, it's just clear as day, this sort of like circle, and right as you're looking at it, you see it just burn away from behind as this bit of blue light comes right at your face.
I'm headed downstairs, everyone can hear me. That's where I'm headed.
You just kind of shout that out. Some people might call back, some people might not. Marie, how did you do in your roll?
Hard success, 14 under 60.
You find Keaton's office. You don't find him inside. You do find that it's in relative disarray. There's ash pouring in through the window. You see his notebook is on his desk. It looks like he's tried to pack some things up and left, but you don't see any signs of him. If you take a look at the notebook, you see that it describes like the early days of what was going on at Joy Grove and how something started to happen to Edgar Job and lightning started to strike. Strange lights started to form. It describes a friendly nurse who was literally burned alive in front of everybody simply for leaning against a wall. It describes how one of the other doctors was struck by lightning while just walking to his car and killed instantly. And it describes how he thinks Edgar Job is immortal. How he personally saw as they tried to let everybody leave. They get hit by lightning this way and that. Lightning came through the windows. In one of the burnt down wings, lightning struck and struck and struck. And it was his wing. And he was the only one to walk out of it. And how there was a glow to him. Now even getting struck by lightning directly did nothing to him. He just seems incapable of harm. And then it says, God help us all. And it's over.
Marie folds up the notebook and kind of tucks it. It's definitely him. It's definitely him. Coming, Mr. Price.
Will, how did you do? I
got another extreme success. I got a 5 under 50.
Hell yes.
Okay. Okay, so as you're moving around, you notice that there are holes in the floor. Like just literally holes in the floor, holes in the ceiling, as if lightning is struck and went right through it. And you notice as you hear Patrick call out, you hear him something about the basement, you find a staircase. And then when you look down the staircase, you see that every single angle of the stairs is emitting this strange blue light, shadows being cast in different directions. The very thing that when you stepped in and got nearly burnt and sickened by some sort of radiating force from the nurse's station, you see it here on the steps going down into the basement.
Should have made a spiral staircase. He goes and he knows that there's holes in the floor, so I think he would rather drop down and risk like rolling an ankle rather than walk through that fire again.
Okay. So you drop down, give me a jump. I'll come back to you later. Marie, Patrick, Leela, Goldie, maybe some of the others. You meet up. Patrick, you're able to tell them about that circular room. What do you guys want to do? The four of you.
Good. Avoid angles.
Inside here, or
we must go down. We must go down.
Patrick?
Trying to get inside this operating room, the circular room.
Yeah.
Okay. You head over to the basement, or the stairs going down. And I'm going to say it's dark. There's a sudden brum that sudden comes through. Lightning strikes again behind you. You turn around. You see one of Walnut's guys just suddenly take it right in the head. And they and collapse down into the ash. And I need the four of you to give me a luck test as you go racing down the stairs.
under 57.
Okay. Goldie, how'd you do?
81 is a fail.
Oh, Patrick fails. Goldie, how'd you do?
Goldie failed, 93.
Leela?
Regular success, 39.
All right. Goldie and Patrick, both of you take 4 more points of damage. You feel burns begin to come up your legs from your feet to the sleeves of pants to your calves. And you almost stumble at one point. But when you get down to the base of the stairs, you look down and you see blisters. Now, for Patrick, it's just more on top of what you've suffered. But Goldie, you see like your shoes have just torn away. You see your feet, you see your ankles, your calf, blisters popping as you have suffered some horrific burns. Leela and Marie, you managed to move quickly enough and fortunately enough where you stepped in the right places. So then we hear the sounds of Will, how did you do on your jump test?
I have a question. Can you push a fumble?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so I fumbled then. I rolled a 99.
You take 8 points of
very
damage.
Polarized tonight.
Oh,
you take
no.
8 points of damage. Yeah, max damage for
I had to say roll my ankle. Damn.
Okay.
Yeah, so I hit a couple
Collapsing
things on the
through
way
the
down.
Right in front of you. So as like Goldie and Patrick are like looking at your ankles and your legs, as Leela, Marie, as you're kind of catching your breath, we see Will just fall. Just, and he splats into like this ash.
Holy shit.
Wind completely knocked out of him. He is not ready to respond to anything for a few moments.
Mr. Sawyer,
Leela goes over and try to help him up.
There was a staircase.
Yeah, you get him up, dust him off a bit.
The angles on the staircase. Fire. Angles, fire.
Yeah, it burns. It burns. We have to hurry. We're right here.
You look up and you see the doorway into the operating theater.
He must be through that door.
In.
I hope he's through that door.
You push the door open. You go inside.
I definitely have my rifle out.
Okay, got your rifle out. You go into the room and you see a circular or near circular room. There's a handful of surgical tools and various other ornamentation, like a bed kind of thrown off to the side here and there. And you can see what looks like observational area, like where you can kind of go up and sit and watch things being done behind some glass that is fractured. But you see in the middle of the room, there's Edgar Job. He is standing relatively still, almost entirely still. His body simultaneously seems to be both a source of that maddening blue-tinged light that you had seen a few times, but also this endlessly refracting shadow that just seems to pour out from them. All of you roll a sand test at the sight of this.
For sure.
You see that he's standing there, but is like racked in pain, covered in ash, and he is just like twisted, and you can see tears have left tracks in the ash that's clinging to his face and his body. He's constantly sort of moving and twitching amidst the blue and the shadows. And he fails?
Yeah.
Yes. Fail.
Pass.
Failures take 2 points of sand.
Okay.
Successes take 1 point of sand. He says nothing to you when you arrive. You think maybe he sees you. At one point, as his eyes look up, he says nothing.
Mr. Job.
Edgar, we're here to help you. Here to put an end to it.
We must finish this.
Goldie is going to start the ritual, the portal.
For what?
I'd like to send Edgar Job away from Earth.
Where?
It doesn't
Where are you
have to
sending
be.
him? Remember, you have to be able to see, have seen where it is you're sending him. So where are you sending him?
By scene, would descriptions of the old planet where Marie, Bev, Will, and Patrick, out in space, would descriptions of that, of like where they are in front of that old god, is kind of what she's clinging to.
You're going to send him to the planet where they saw Golgoroth?
That's her goal, yeah. To get him away from here.
Okay. You're going to... So, I just want to say it out loud. The avatar that you summoned to kill Igolanak, who warned you of Azathoth's gaze being directed to this rock, you're going to send him to that...
So I would just... No. I would like to just kind of, when it's out in space, like not necessarily like him or any suggestions.
So what I'm saying, out in space, like, so that sequence was time. Like you guys were traveling in space and time. So it's hard to, like, you could, I'm not saying you can't do it. You certainly could. I just want you to know what you're saying. Like you're sending him to the planet where you last saw the body of Golgoroth.
In the book, were there descriptions of...
there were some, but not sufficient enough.
Enough to send someone there?
Yeah. You have astronomy. If you want to give me an astronomy test, maybe I'll let you have knowledge of a planet or something like that.
Something.
You could do something like that. What'd you say, Patrick?
I was gonna start pushing in the room, trying to get near him.
Yeah, you push into the room. Yeah, you can get up right next to him. It's disorienting getting close to him. Absolutely. But yeah, you can get up close to him. He doesn't recall. He doesn't move.
I got a 2, Jeff.
Hell yes.
You maybe you've heard of you've done studies of distant stars, distant planets. You have seen perhaps artistic renderings of other planets in the cosmos. Again, you're an astronomer. You have astronomy. So I would say that you could have some kind of of planet in mind, some sort of barren rock, at least from all understanding of it, outside of the solar system.
Yeah.
I would presume. Far and far away. Yeah. You can get that in your mind. Absolutely. For sure.
Oh, yes.
And you could begin casting Hyperspace Gate.
That's what I would like to do.
Okay, so it is going to cost you, considering what you just targeted, it's going to cost you 13 magic points.
Okay.
20 permanent POW.
Okay.
As you're putting some of yourself into it. And as you begin to start going through this ritual in this room, spinning your hands, focusing your mind on this distant planet that you've read about years ago, that you've seen the papers about, you've seen in science journals, you've seen in astrological write-ups, mentionings in maybe Theosophical Society, salons and such. And you just continue to focus on it. And all of you just see, now this is going to take a while. So you are now committed to this.
Yes.
Patrick, you just got close to him. What are you doing?
You might put a hand on him, maybe listen in if he's saying anything.
Put a hand on him. You listen. He doesn't say anything. It's almost annoyingly how quiet he is.
Is there any support that can be offered to Goldie in this moment?
You could give if you knew the ritual, just like the other one. There's like the basic rules, like you can give over magic point and such. But yeah, there's really nothing more to it than that. Just giving over.
If I can toss magic point over, I'd like to.
It's up to Goldie. If Goldie wants to do this by herself, or she wants to.
I've spent it at this point, but so I'd say if you just want to make sure I don't get shocked by lightning, I would greatly appreciate it.
I can just keep. So I don't know if there's like a hold action or anything, but I'd like to keep an eye on Goldie for that and like shove her out of the way if there's lightning.
You look around though, and you notice that there doesn't seem to be any holes in the ceiling. Doesn't seem to be any signs anywhere of lightning having struck in this room.
This might be the safest place, she says out loud to everybody as she's looking around.
Job, I don't know if you can hear us. You don't know me, but your old mentor, Ayers, he's outside. He's dying. He wants to talk to you one more time.
You see, that actually gets him to turn his head ever so slightly, but that is painful to do so. And you hear him finally speak as his mouth opens up. You see crusts of ash fall from his lips. Go away. Leave me be.
Ayers wants to help you.
If you care, just take George away from here. Please.
Why? What's going to happen here?
Nothing good.
Can you stop?
Are you helping Goldie, or are you participating in the conversation?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm cool either way. I just kind of want to know.
I'll keep an eye on Goldie.
Okay. It's okay if you haven't spent the points, then I would say go for it. But but I would say if you're committing points, like magic points and focus, like complete focus on the ritual.
No, I didn't commit magic points because I said you'd already spent it. So
okay, well then yeah. So what did you say?
Focus.
So what did Leela say?
What did she say? Can you stop?
It's like the whole universe is staring at me.
I can feel every eye, every point of light. It's all on me. I can't do anything. And you could see he's contorted in pain the whole time. Please. Leave me be. Go away.
Job, if you don't stop this, Ayers is going to die outside. He's going to be hit by lightning.
Go ahead and roll a test. Whatever social test you want.
I feel like I'm kind of like laying on the guilt trip, the fast talk a little bit more.
Feels like fast talk to me, because, yeah, but, I don't know.
Which is barely a success, 64 under 70.
Okay. He says, that's why you need to take him away. Everything is gonna be gone soon. So
he's too frail to move. Can you come out and talk to him?
No. No, I can't.
Can you make it safe for him to come in here? Can you stop all this fire?
I can't do anything! Leave me. Go.
Can't go. It's falling apart out there. We're gonna send you away from here. We turn everything back to normal.
We have a plan. We have a plan.
You can stop this?
We can stop what's happening to the earth.
There's nothing that can stop this. Leave. Now.
There's nowhere else to go. It's all or nothing on this plan.
The whole world is suffering. There's nowhere to go.
Well, then, I guess we go together.
Patrick, give me a persuasion test.
Sure thing. I have a 37. Rolled a 51. Let me see if I have enough luck. Yeah, 14 luck to pass. Good enough.
Okay. Marie, what are you saying? What are you doing?
I'm just trying to... we have a plan. Ms. Ambrose here is... she's hard at work. We have a plan. We can't stop what's happening to you, but we can stop everyone around from dying. This started years ago, but we can end it.
You see behind him, you can see a portal comes into view. It has that shimmering quality similar to the Bayaki. But instead of just continuing to rotate around, you suddenly see it flicker and then grow. You hear the sounds of like Goldie, also like racked with paint, and just sort of, but this time it's focused on your head. You just feel your brain suddenly on fire as the focus of the spell requires so much. You just continue to think of that rock that you saw, that you read about. But then you hear the distant sounds of lightning, the sounds of whatever it is that's in the sky staring down, flakes of ash fall, and then your head sort of twists and turns with the worst migraine you've ever had. It feels as though someone is wrenching your brain, but you continue to focus and continue to focus. And all of you watch as behind Edgar Job, you see flickering into the middle of that portal is this dark, blue-gray, icy landscape. This rock, this sky. It's just barren and empty. And you can see through it. Anyone who steps to the side, there's no thickness to it. It is thin as can be. And when you just stand behind it, you can't see through it to the other side.
You're ready to atone for your sins. We'll take the gaze with you.
This is the end.
Leela's gonna ask one of them, does he need to be pushed in or kept away?
What?
Go through.
What sins did I commit?
Not
Leela's
yours.
going to try and shove him in and face the road where he said.
Leela, you rush up to him and you shoulder into him, and he stumbles back into the portal, but you see him just phase right through it, and he stands on the other side of it, still inside of the operation theater. Leave. Get out of here. You're just here to hurt me like everyone else always has. I was a kid. It was my daddy. And then it was those fellas in the cult. And then afterwards they beat me and they gave me drugs. And they put me here. I came here. I admitted to what I had done. And you're here to try to kill me. Well, I have bad news for all of you. Others have tried. The sky has tried. I've been shot. I've been stabbed. I've been battered. And none of it's worked. I wish you could kill me, but I can't die. And he just twists again in the pain.
I'm channeling, so I can't talk, right?
Yeah, and I would say expend another magic point. For every minute, in addition to when you open it, for every minute you try to keep it open, it's going to cost you an extra magic point. So it's
y'all, we need to try and convince him.
Yep, I got a track going.
Yep.
Job, we're not trying to kill you. We're just trying to we're trying to save heirs and everyone else. And if you can go through that portal, this storm, it'll follow you and everyone else will be okay.
So I go through and I die, and all you get to live. Oh, that's a great deal, isn't it? It's easy for you all to come here and make me do it. You all are...
I'll go with you, Job.
Yeah, me too.
Go with me. He's looking at Will as he says this. Go with me?
I'll go with you. Leela, it's fine. You stay here. And I turn and I kind of give her a wink.
Oh, if you're lying, I need you to roll fast.
No, I do want to go with him. I'm not lying about going with him.
Okay.
I think I'm the one that's being lied to.
Well,
okay. Will,
what do you mean you'll go with him?
It's only fair. We go together. He shouldn't have to do this alone. Job, I tried to bring heirs to you. I'm sorry I couldn't get him to you, but I was the last one to talk to him, and I'll be the one to go with you.
You can see he's really thinking about it. Why? Why would you do that?
You may not have sins to atone for, but I do. It's only right.
All right. All right. I'll go.
go together. You want me to walk through first? You come with me?
Mr. Sawyer, don't go. We've done all of this. You don't.
It'll be okay, Marie. It'll be fine.
Goldie is
we
holding
don't have time to argue.
Out. So, like, kind of as she's casting, she's like extending the book towards you.
Mm-hmm. And you see, like, the portal every now and then, like, flickers. Every time she, like, does anything other than focus, like, you see it just flicker, like, as if she needs full concentration.
Marie
Patrick,
will go over to
I
Will.
don't know how to read that book.
Marie will just hold Will in a tight hug. Thank you, and she just starts to cry. Thank you. It sounds stupid, but thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. I'll see you on the other side.
Never saw you as a sacrificing type. You sure about this?
It's only fair that we go together. Not saying I want to die. But who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky over there. And Will fumbles through his pockets. He has one more black draft, the dose that was for Patrick. But he never gave it to him, and he drinks that. And then he steps through the portal.
Okay. You see the guy's like, all right. All right. If you say this'll... Hey. Tell George. Tell George I said... Well, just tell him I was thinking of him. And then you see him, like, literally step forward. And you see this time, as he makes contact with the portal itself, he steps through. We see the portal start to close. Does anything happen as the portal closes?
Marie just sort of hugs Patrick and sort of averts her eyes from the portal.
And then we see it winks out. Goldie fall to the ground. Maybe blood maybe coming out of your eyes and your ears, your nose. As you feel like the power has been drained.
Goldie.
Grab her. And you all listen for a moment. And for the first time in weeks, you don't hear lightning.
Mr. Price, did it work?
It's over.
We have to see. We have to see. And Marie just tries to kind of run back to the staircase and run outside.
Leela, meanwhile, is being very tender with Goldie, like wiping blood off her face and generally being nurturing in a way that she usually isn't.
I'll find where George Ayers was left out.
Yeah, so you race up, you find George Ayers, and he is... It work. It's like, as you grab him, him and like one of the Walnuts guys are like right at the edge of a lightning crater. And you see the two of them are just utterly demolished. You can see like Cyrus is there, but he's got his busted arm and he's trying to tend to like one of the guys. You see like Jean is limping over as well, and you can see that he is covered in those blisters. It's all of you've seen coming from somewhere deeper into the sanitarium. And as you look up, you look around, you don't see any signs of that lightning. You don't see any signs of those strange colors. They're there, they linger, they fade, and then the ash slows. It's not an immediate stop, but you see it starts falling in lesser and lesser volume. Over the course of the next hour or so, it eventually dwindles and then doesn't fall anymore. When you race up the stairs and out, you notice that that blue light doesn't seem to be emanating from the seams, the angles. And as far as you can tell, the gaze of Azathoth has shifted away from this planet. We are going to fade out of that scene as everyone stumbles up out in the ash in front of this destroyed asylum. All but one, Will, is there. The rest of you tending to each other, making sure everybody is as cared for as possible. We fade to black. We are going to then turn for a moment to this distant planet. Will, I assume you had something up your sleeves when you were doing the draw.
Will has no idea if this will work, but he promised Frank that he would keep everyone as safe as he could, and Will also is a bit impulsive and driven by adventure, and how can you not want to see what a new planet looks like? So there was a bit of a carrot and a stick there for him. And when he crosses this threshold and he sees that Job comes with, he first of all starts looking for lightning.
It eventually arrives. Within a few minutes, you start to see that same aurora that you saw in the atmosphere of Earth suddenly start to scatter around this planet. You feel the pains of some kind of alternate gravity. It's certainly not Earth norm, but as you quickly take the draught in, you feel yourself suddenly inert against the vacuum of space, the problems of alternate atmosphere, and you're capable again. And you see Job just like limps over to where this rock sits on the ground, and he sits down on it and he stares up at the sky. It's just the two of you. What do you do, Will?
I want to try and perform a ritual to call a courier of the upper air.
Okay. Go ahead and make this. Are you doing this near him?
I wouldn't do it like right next to him, but I wouldn't leave that far. I would stay close to him.
You have to spend magic points so decide how many magic points you want to spend. For each MP you spend, you gain a certain percentage towards the spell. A result of 96 to 100 is always a fail. And a result of 100 will always be a horrific consequence.
All right. So I spent 15 total points, 10 magic points, 5 health points. And I'm rolling a straight D100 then, right?
Okay, yep. It takes, so it's going to take a little time, but yeah.
That is a 48.
All right, and so as the lights of Azathoth, the gaze of Azathoth, like stares down at this new planet as Job kind of looks up at the sky, kind of sadly, we see in the background Will kind of having slunk away, casting the spell. We see the shimmer open up of that we've so familiarly seen before, and from it once more is the Bayaki comes through. His reptile wings, his face might be the same one, might be a different one. It's hard to say, but it seems just as angry as the last time you've casted one, and begins to dive in your direction. Give me a POW test. To try to command it.
50. Can I spend luck on this?
Yep.
I'll spend the 11 luck to pass.
Okay. That will be a success then, I think, because I have got a fail, and so you see its head dips down once more, and you see yourself with the ability to climb aboard this.
Take me to Ohio.
We see Will climb aboard. We see the winged creature begin to ascend. And right as it's going into this shimmering light, we see Job look over his shoulder, wince as you disappear from view. And once more we fade to black. I'm going to go around to each of you, and I would like you to describe where you basically are. Like, as time's going to pass, you're going to learn over time that the sky kind of goes back to normal. In some cases, it takes hours. In some cases, it takes days. But you see the lightning kind of fades away. You can see the ash begins to stop falling. It's a long time before life returns to normal throughout the course of the globe. It certainly seems as though it takes some time for order to come back together. There's been all sorts of chaos in various places across the world, and I'll say maybe a year or so has passed. Where do we find? Let's start with Goldie. Goldie, where do we find you? Kind of a year from now, with life slowly returning to normal on Earth.
Goldie is still working through her numerous phobias that she developed over the course of this adventure. So Janet Whitson Rogers found herself in Arkham. And she has an intense fear of being alone. And Cyrus, as her wonderful platonic friend, offers to host her. And so she has come to live in Arkham with Cyrus. And she is spending a lot of time getting therapy. The cost of POW that she had to expend to cast that spell, as well as like regaining her MP, has affected her gifts that she had naturally as a child growing up. She has a much harder time doing her ghost portraits. Oftentimes it has to be a really aggressive spirit that wants her attention to be able to prompt her to see them. She doesn't see them as frequently or passingly anymore. And that in turn does upset her. She takes the time to enroll in school, to learn to paint again, aside from just ghosts, because she is haunted by these visions of things that we saw during the apocalypse. And as part of her therapy, she's been painting and drawing some renown with how well she captured these bizarre and weird instances.
We turn our attention to Leela. Leela, where do we see you in about a year or so?
So with Leela, she's back doing the work of being a scout and leading adventure parties and that kind of thing. But she's doing a lot of fairly easy treks and expeditions right now, because her focus is to make sure nobody ever climbs Mount Kailash ever again. So she, even conceptually, like, you're not supposed to climb it, but she makes sure to like spread information about like rock falls and like passes not working. You know, she'll seed maps that contradict each other. That kind of, they basically just make it like operationally untenable to really underscore the philosophical reasons behind not climbing it, and doing whatever she can to make that not a destination. And she is dedicating most of her life to that, and has transitioned her professional work to stuff that she doesn't really have to think about, so her actual efforts can be redistributed elsewhere.
Fantastic. And Will, I turn to you. after your return to Ohio via the Bayaki. Where do we find Will thereafter? What is he up to?
So we see Will first hitchhiking along old country roads. He gets dropped off at a crossroads, and he starts walking and walking. A lot of farmland, not many trees. The trees that were there, a lot of them have looked like they've been burnt by lightning recently. And he finds a cemetery. And you see him going through looking for all the headstones for a specific name. And he eventually finds one labeled Tom Ford. Beloved son, brother, so on. It's got the date and everything. And you see Will, like, he holds it together, but then he sees a headstone next to that says Susan Ford, beloved mother. And that's where Will starts to fall apart. And it reads in the headstone along something like died of a broken heart or something along those lines. And he leaves that cemetery and he goes walking down more country roads until he finds just this ramshackle hut, essentially. It's like a dirt floor house, corrugated iron. The windows are all thrown out. There's a mailbox at the front of the road that says Ford on it, and it looks like no one's lived here for quite some time. And he goes through and he starts trying to fix it up, and he never actually makes contact again with the rest of the group. And in his shame and his guilt for letting down Job in that way, and for letting down Frank Kearns and his mother and his brother, he begins performing the rituals of self-denial that he sort of sideways learned just from being around Patrick and Ayers. And he doesn't get all of them right by any means, but he essentially just goes into self-imposed solitude of his own in a rundown farm in Ohio.
We turn to Patrick. Where do we find Patrick?
Everything comes back to normal. He has to deal with the legalities of potentially Peter going missing, so getting help.
I will tell you that you are kind of off the hook for that, as the events of 1939 were so chaotic that many people have gone missing, many people have died, and unfortunately Anna and Peter and Anna's family are never located, nor is Jack Pisner really, but you are not held responsible for it, as that case's details kind of gets lost in the shuffle of the near apocalypse. So Patrick is kind of scot-free with that.
Then I would pick up the investigation, just like what happened to Anna. I would go drive to Connecticut to parents' house to see what happened, like if anyone's around, anyone left behind. I would sort of become a private investigator himself. It's PPPI, Patrick Price, private investigator. You'd be going around following that trail. And then being more personal, just make closure at spots for the people he's known. So going back, finding Pastor Wood's congregation, seeing where that's at, attending like a mass or two, seeing how Aunt Kana's doing, if she's fared well. Even down in Mexico, where Lana, Pastor Wood's family member, how she's doing down there.
Yeah, if you look out for them, Elena she stays in touch. You'll run into her from time. She gets a bug to continue traveling. But like you, maybe you even meet her in one of those places. Maybe you find her because her aunt was Pastor Wood's wife, basically. And so maybe you run across her there. But yeah, she becomes a traveler herself. She kind of travels, writes songs, writes poetry. She's always had that kind of love. She used to work with booking bands, but she herself had her own talents. So yeah, you're able to keep in touch with her. Okay. What do you think you would do if you ever found Pisner?
I think I'd just give him a warning, or maybe like a truce of sorts. Try to amend things almost, like end this war that's going on between us.
Okay. So we see, maybe it's somewhere in Los Angeles. We see you just kind of kick a door down, and we see like if we're in some kind of motel somewhere. You see the light coming in through these horizontal blinds. And we see old Jackie Pisner, scrambles up, goes for the gun, kind of turns to point it at you, but maybe you already have one. And then like you kick the door closed, and we just hear the sounds of voices. This talking, not shooting, starts to go down. Fade out of there. Marie, what about you?
I would say Marie's first stop would be going back to Arkham, making sure that Nancy is on the mend, as she's been, kind of in treatment and whatnot. And I would say Nancy, if she's back home, kind of wakes up one morning and, sees her apartment key that Marie's had for a very long time, just on the kind of kitchen table with a note that says it's time for me to go back to Chicago. And so then we kind of come back up in Chicago, and Marie has a room in the basement of her older sister Susie's home. She's kind of moved in with her older sister and her husband and their kids. And imagine that Marie doesn't publicly sing anymore. She lost a lot of sand throughout all of this, lost a lot of friends, and she just is in this basement. And if you kind of go down the stairs to the basement, she has a record player. There's jazz playing. She still has a beautiful singing voice. But you see, if you look around the basement, there's 5 cats around, that she's sort of become this recluse who is kind of just in this basement area, and you can't fall out of the sky in a plane. You can't fall off a 4-story building. You can't lose a friend. Just singing songs in your sister's basement, surrounded by this collection of stray cats.
We check in as well with a few key participants. Dr. Key. Ash, let's say Dr. Key disappears from the world even before the events of 1939. She disappeared. But I like to think, and you can help me out with this since she was your character for so long, I like to think she doesn't stay reclusive forever. Maybe she has a reemergence in the sort of rebuilding process after this. Do you think she kind of gets back into the academic life, or do you think Dr. Key would have done something different?
I think she definitely would have gotten back into the academic life with more of a focus of occult things. Yeah. With like the basis of, all of the things that she experienced. She does wind up probably making connections or maintaining connections with Elena. So they'll link up in Mexico sometimes. She never goes back to that site, but she does have like a fascination with what we uncovered there. And if Ed Exley is alive, I'd say she's no longer Dr. Key, or she does keep her name for her professional services, but she's not that kind of woman. Yeah. but she and Ed do get married, and she doesn't have to work between the funds her father has given her, but her mother lives with them, and her dad as well, like just kind of in a large home.
And I like to think that it is not the smoothest of households. Is there something very odd about your mother, your father, strangely erudite and distant?
They have definitely disappeared from the public eye, and Bev and Ed had kind of taken over of like public appearances.
Okay.
And her dad spends a lot of time up in his attic for some reason. It's so weird.
They live a long, long life.
Bev as well, surprisingly.
Yeah. We check in. So we mentioned Ankana. I think Ankana probably returned to Thailand once things settled down. Maybe brought her I'll quote, long lost great aunt Ravi with her and managed to get back with her family. She had family, remember? She was the oldest, basically the de facto mother, even though they were basically siblings. And so she kind of gets back to that. I like to think some of you maybe see a newspaper article or two about Rick Luke, who seems to be fronting an expedition to Antarctica several years later. Something about strange photographs of black basalt cliffs from aerial photography. Something going on down there, and he's trying to organize an expedition. Maybe he even sends correspondence out to some of you, probably unresponded to, but he sends it out to you all to see if anyone's interested in kind of getting back on that horse, seeing what's out there. And I think all of that kind of happens. And I think we fade out of that. And I think that's sort of like the final lasting scene. We kind of come back again. It's black screen one more time, and we see coming up. We hear something before we see it. We hear the sounds like jazz music. We open on a lavish mansion. It's nighttime. Festivities are in full sway. We see the front lawn is littered with the most expensive cars of the area. They've changed, but they're still expensive. We see cigar smoking chauffeurs are playing cards on hoods of vehicles or listening to what sounds to be the radio call of the New York Yankees and the Brooklyn Dodgers in a World Series. Shift inside. We see hear jazz echoing off these mahogany walls. We see servants well-dressed spinning in and out of these swinging kitchen doors. We got carrying trays, hors d'oeuvres, drinks. They're passing them out to all these finely dressed partygoers. There's women in glittering gowns, men in fitted tuxedos. We see them dancing across the floor. Others sitting at tables, laughing, drinking, including a familiar face. The face of Janet Winston Rogers. It's a little older now, a little firmer, a little more lines, but it's no less stunning. She's sitting alone, and behind her, you can see Mickey waves away anyone who tries to come join her, because even though she's sitting alone, all around her are place settings and glasses arranged for several guests. Some haven't arrived, maybe never will. Others are maybe off dancing. But you see she reaches out, she lifts a glass, she kind of raises it in a gesture towards the musicians and the singer across the stage. She smiles, she takes a sip, and the band plays on. And that is the end of Eternal Lies. Thank you everybody for playing. Thank you everybody for watching. We are over.
Holy shit.
Oh shit. Thank you,
Jeff.
Guys. What the fuck?
Thank you.
Save the world.
Holy crap, Jeff. Thank you.
Save the world. Look at that. That was easy.
Oh.
So easy. A caveman could do it. Nothing?
No, not at all.
I don't think my notes have haunted me. Like, I don't think you guys realize how much I have obsessively been in my notes. Yes.
I just want to do the brand one more time. It's like one of my favorite sounds.
It's so
Ashley's going to move into a house with an attic so she can have all her notes scattered about.
Yeah.
Jeff comes over to my house. It's all taped to my walls. Odor's crying.
That was so good.
So good.
There you go.
I did not
Okay.
know where we were going to end. That was
pretty intense. Pretty intense.
So intense.
You guys did it. You guys figured it out yourselves too. It was pretty awesome. I know Ashley, you were leading the charge on the Edgar Job stuff, so that was awesome. It was cool to see you come up with the idea,
yes,
and sort of piece it together without and like you guys were able to just get there right away. That was awesome. That was great. It was awesome to be able to bring in like I started thinking about like some of the other NPCs that you guys had scattered about the world.
That was so great.
No.
Did John get his medals like Will promised?
No. No, he didn't.
He didn't do anything. He was outside the whole time.
Yeah.
When I got to do the pour over,
he's the captain now. Oh my god, I can't believe I said that. I was like, it's right there. It was right there. It was like I heard it before I said it, and I was so giddy. I was like,
charming black guys, like as far as the eye can see, like
wonderful. Yeah,
I could see how excited you were to say the line too.
I really wanted to say it. I was so ready to say it. I'm like, come on, shut up, so I could say this. I want to say it so bad.
Oh, and Patrick and Jack didn't murder each other.
Oh my god,
we saw.
That's insane. That Patrick, you are such a softie.
Yeah.
Murders Anna, murders her family, murders your best friend, business partner.
That's
culture. I've literally never harmed anyone in your family, but let's call it truth.
We'll call it even.
We'll call it even. This bastard would
my friend murdered your cousin. You murdered everyone I've ever met and cut off my finger. We're even.
There's been enough suffering in the world.
Good old Piz. Oh,
yeah,
good old
and
Pisner.
I'd like to think Patrick just got some perspective. Like that's me would happen.
Violence begets violence. Yeah, he was like, maybe he got into like, I don't know, like Buddhism or something during his time out. And he's just like, violence begets violence or something.
I mean, all of the meditation and everything that Patrick had been doing over the years. I can see the
absolutely
peaceful conclusion.
Well, we've been at this far too long. Let's do a couple closing plugs. We'll get on out of here. Maitreyi, where can we find you on the internet?
I am Maitreyi Plays Games on YouTube, where I make systemically agnostic or multi-system tabletop content that centers the GM and play experience.
Awesome. Steven, what have you been making lately?
I made a Western horror game. I think Hellboy and Tombstone. It's called Huckleberry. It is available for pre-order now. We already have like accessories going into manufacturing and stuff like that. The books are just getting a couple stretch goals finished, so we are in the home stretch. If you want your copy, go to huckleberryrpg.com/pre-order. Use code LOLLY for 5% $5 off. $5.
Awesome. Okay. As for us, I think Monday we might be doing Somewhere in Danger if we can get the crew together. We'll see. Not sure about that. Tuesday we got Wild Sea with Kipser. Thursday next week, I don't know. This is my second finale this week. I finished up Legend of the Mist the other day, so I don't know, something. And then Saturday next week, I don't know, something. And I think we should have a Conan episode up tomorrow night. We'll see if I have the stamina to finish editing tonight. So we'll see. But that's it for us. Thank you for everybody who watched this, who've been watching this live or who have been watching this on YouTube or have been listening to this through various podcast apps. We really do appreciate it. You've been sticking with us for a very, very long time. I hope you enjoyed the journey. I hope you enjoyed the story. And we're going to do another one at some point here very shortly. But that's it for us. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you in the next one.